Welcome back. If you could hear this beautiful, beautiful music, you know it's us talking about part 2 of Evangelion, and then after that, we're jumping right into the movie End of Evangelion, so we know what's happening. I was about to curse just then. Remember, no cursing for the first 2 minutes because YouTube punishes you. Because YouTube Daddy punishes those who talk nasty. No adult dirty talk. For the first 2 minutes, Bale.
Yes.
Should we jump right in? You want to jump right in, or you?
But before we jump into the podcast, we need to thank our sponsors, baby.
Sponsors. You know what? Patreon members are they are sponsors in their own way. They're community members, but also it's like it's almost like PBS, you know? Brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you, PBS members, for wow, this girl's kind of cute, man. Singing this song.
Oh, she is gorgeous.
Yeah, she can get it, dude. With her, it was
I've
a
been
little.
listening to her for the past 2 weeks.
Is that a little beret?
Yeah. She changes outfits and hair color and hairstyles depending on the song.
Now, see, in my head, I have always assumed that Japanese women were more chaste than American women. Like if you're attractive enough and you're in like the I don't want to say a sleazy part of town, but there's a probability if you've got like if you got a lot of points in charisma, and you go to, you know, you're good looking enough and you go out to a bar, at least back in my day, there was a chance that, you know, you could go home. Hell, you might even be able to get some tail right there in the bar. You might get a hand job with BJ in the bathroom. You might be doing cocaine off somebody's genitals. Does that work in Japan?
I don't know, but I reckon it does, because, you know, it's still a country. They have that super toxic work environment that people somehow need to take a break from, and very often you could find people passed out in the streets that have gone drinking after work.
Okay, so I see what Bill's saying.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Keiji's been to Japan. Keiji, you ever go to a bar and get some tail from some Japanese people? All right. While Keiji is answering that, let's start. We're starting episode 15. Episode 15 is where we're starting on the series. We did a video already doing a recap of the first 14 episodes, and then episode 14 ends with a clip show. And it's kind of hey, remember this happened in the last 14 episodes? Episode 15 is a good spot because right around episode 15, 16 is where shit starts going bonkers. Also, we're 3 minutes in, so cussing is allowed.
Yeah, let me know your initial reactions and thoughts to the second part of Ava, because, you know, the first part is more or less normal, but the weird shit starts hitting now.
Okay, Keiji says she was born in Japan, but moved when she was 6 years old, so she wasn't old enough to start getting tail at the bar, so she doesn't know. So we'll never know, unless a Japanese person strolls in here into this chat, or if you could find a Japanese person in the comments, leave a comment in the video. I want to know. All right, episode 15. We have episode 15 is one where we find out that Kaji, Mr. Handsome Kaji here, is a double agent. He's a spy. All right, let me just put some lo-fi on for everybody.
He's a filthy, sneaky spy.
He's a dirty spy. He's been spying on Nerve for the Japanese government.
Just like any good spy, he's shoving his nose where it shouldn't be. And he's risking his life. And we're back to fucking Asuka being a attention whore.
That's right, because the three of the adults, right? Misato, scientist lady, and spy boy. They all go to a wedding this episode, right?
Yeah.
Oh Oh crap, that's right. I forgot there was this weird interaction at one point.
It's the elevator in this fucking show is the place for weird ass interactions from the very start.
Yeah, Shinji turns to Rei and he says, Rei, you remind me of somebody's mom, right? Is what he says, right? You remind me of a mom. Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking at her while she was cleaning in the classroom, and he was like, "Oh, the way you rinsed that cloth looked like you were a mother. It was very motherly." I'm like, "What the fuck are you paying attention to, you dumbass?"
That's such a crazy now I have said, as a person who says crazy random things without any provocation, this is my area of expertise. That is a crazy thing to say to somebody. Like, that is weird even for this show. Like, if the interactions, that's wild. You ran that cloth. You ran that cloth out like a mom.
Oh, I listened to the dub while I was in the Discord stream, and in the dub he still sounds like a little pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, he does.
But I think the Japanese sound is like 20% extra on top of that.
Wow, that's too much. That's too, dude. Shinji is already premium bitch. I don't think, dude. If they had made Shinji's voice any more, like, I don't want to say effeminate, but like, you know, if they made Shinji sound like he had any more sugar in his tank, we'll say, it would have been unbearable. It would have been unbearable. He would have had a lisp. He would have been lisping. He would have been like sing-songing some of his words. It was like his voice was so high-pitched already. Any more than that, he would have sounded like a homosexual Elmo from the Sesame Street, you know? Like, I think, yeah. Hello, Toxic. Hello, Stringer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In this next scene, we get to see some action. Dude, this show and the movie, shockingly sexual. Shockingly sexual. Also, all right, here. You consume way more Japanese media than I have. Nowadays, could you get away with showing this many in America? I think the age of consent in Japan is like 14 years old. Anybody want to go? Hey, Keiji, you were in Japan. Keiji, what's the age of consent in Japan? I know it's way young. It's like 14, 15.
13.
No.
I just googled it.
Oh my god. Wow, hold on.
You know that old meme of if her age is on the clock, she's too young for the cock? Japan took that seriously.
Oh my god! Woo! Lord, gee, God!
Yo, that is wild. That is wild. Could you imagine? It's like, hey, I'm gonna cruise by the junior high school and get some tail.
FBI, open up!
Anyway, that explains some things.
I mean, that's the legal age of consent, but you know,
there's a social thing to it, of obviously, and a cultural thing. But still, the fact that the law is like, well, we can't prosecute. I mean, you could probably beat the shit out of this guy, but he won't go to jail for doing that. Do you think that plays into like the nudity? That, like, again, if this were an American TV show, I feel like people would be losing their goddamn minds.
I've been listening to Dan from Toy Galaxy talk about the Gundam series and how it was heavily edited because, you know, it's heavy on war thematics. It got very heavily in America because you had basically, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like sensibility checkers. Like, oh, this is too much war, too much violence, too much blood, too much sexuality. And you guys usually edit a lot of things out, and this would have been like gutted basically.
Yeah, no, like this is like at some points of this, like, listen, at the end of the day, it's just, these are cartoons, right? Who cares, right? They're not real things.
It isn't, yeah, it's not a cartoon representation of someone who's alive. It's like, it's a character. It's not real. It's not alive.
But I will say there is a line, right? Because the other day, Bale and I were looking at images. I found an image of Eri from My Hero Academia. As I was looking, I wasn't looking for this. I literally Googled another character. And as I'm perusing through that character's fan art, suggested to me by Google, was some very lewd Rule 34 art for the character of Eri from My Hero Academia, who's like 4 years old,
Oh yeah.
in a very provocative scenario, to put it mildly. And at that point you're like,
it's a little kid.
yeah, at that point you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? You know, like, and you're at the end of the day, you know, really it's nothing. Like, you're right. You know, like, at what point does it go from like me drawing a stick figure, you know, like, at what point does me like doodling a stick figure with its tits and saying this stick figure is underage, like, where is the bridge, right? You're never ever hurting. You're not hurting a real person, but at some point it's like, it's fucking weird. Like,
it's the backstory of the character, because let's say, oh, these are teenagers, this is where you start getting interested in sex and whatnot, and a lot of people start having sex in their teens. But when you're talking about a girl that we know is like 5 or 6 and you load her up, it's like, come on, man. It's
yeah,
like,
well,
if she was
like, that's what I'm
16,
talking about. But like,
fine,
but then there's that whole lolly thing, right? There's a person who's like, who looks like a small child, and it's like, this person is 600 years old, but they got the body of a little girl, so it's okay. And you're like, it's weird.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the logical loophole. Here's the thing, though. I still wouldn't want to take that art away or ban it, because that's infringement on, you know, First Amendment
Sure.
and the right to free speech. But it doesn't mean I can like it.
Right. It's still creepy as shit. I'm not saying it should be illegal. I'm not saying any of this stuff should be.
disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not saying any of this stuff should be against the law. I'm just saying it's strange. It's strange how sexed up these like underage kids are. But then you're like, they're not kids, they're cartoons. But then also you got to take into consideration Japanese culture, and also you have to take into consideration, like, this is Shinji's story. So it's like Shinji's the protagonist. We're seeing the world primarily mostly through his eyes. And as we all know, you know, any of the dudes in here who were once upon a time a teenage boy, you get it. But again, it was just like the juxtaposition of like, I don't think this would fly in the States. Like, if there was like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
it will.
if it was like, hey, this is the Legend of Korra, and she's, you know,
Especially
she's
now,
like
dude.
14, and she's just gonna be like, you're just gonna see some dick every now and then. You're gonna see like some 14-year-old, you know, representation, anime dong, and like tits. You'd be like, wow, okay. I don't think there's no. I don't think they're gonna let this happen. Let's see. It's illegal in Poland. What's illegal in Poland? Toxic. Wolves. I don't care for the nudity at all, but the way they portray female characters, especially teenagers in a lot of Japanese, is just trash. Really? You know, I actually.
Here's the.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right. My last 2 cents, because I do want to kick this off, but I like a little bit of shenanigans before we dive all the way in. I was talking to somebody who was watching My Hero Academia. They're catching up with the most recent season, My Villain Academia, and they were talking about, I was like, who are your best characters? This is a lady, by the way. There's a lady, you know, she likes like Sailor Moon. That's more, you know, big Studio Ghibli gal, you know, old-timey weeb. And then like all her favorite characters that she was listening were like, dude, she's like Todoroki, Bakugo, Deku, and I was like, oh, well, I'm more of an Aizawa man myself. You know, I'm more of a Hitoshi Shinso boy myself. But she was kind of lamenting. That's like, she's like, none of the girls really are as cool as any of the coolest guys. I'm like, well, that makes sense because it's a shonen, right? But unfortunately, I will have to agree. Some of the gals are a little bit more. They lean a little bit more two-dimensional compared to the boys, right? Where it's like you get like when it comes to like Bakugo's story, like he's got a fucking arc, man. When it comes to Todoroki's backstory with his dad, it's like, man, that's some, like, in Deku and All Might, there's some really. But then you're like, when you look at the gals, you're like, Froppy's a frog, and she's got great tits, and then you know it's like Arabaka, she's got great tits, and she could do stuff. She could like floaty float and to gravity stuff, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's not exactly the same.
Yao Momo, she is rich, and she has the biggest
and
tits.
She's got great tits, dude.
Specifically on My Hero Academia, this is as much as we know about the girls so far. Hopefully they get fleshed out more in the future, but this is a thing I've noticed a lot in in shonen specifically, because the girls are like the romantic interest and they're not the protagonists. They're not
Right.
any of the main characters. You could argue that Baku, Todoroki, and Deku specifically are the three main characters of the series, so it only makes sense they're gonna have a lot of backstory.
Toxic says Toxic Wolf says lolly art is banned in Poland.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay. All right. Any last words? You want to jump right back in?
Any JoJo female character is written better than any other shonen female character.
That's
That's a fact.
cool.
JoJo female characters are great.
One of these days I'll make some time for JoJo. That time has not come yet,
So,
but one day.
oh yeah, you're not ready for
I'm
it.
still training. Okay. In this next scene, we actually get. Speaking of teenage romance, we actually get a little bit of the old kissy. Now. Oh, fucking Shinji.
This scene fucking got me. He's like, "Oh, you're still playing the cello?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, no, nobody told me to stop. Are you waiting for that, you dumb fucking bitch?" I swear to fucking God, man.
Yeah,
If you don't tell this idiot to do or not do anything, he will just run onto the fucking highway and
Yeah.
get hit.
No, I mean, they really push the point home that unless you specifically tell Shinji to stop, now up until this point, we know that Shinji's a pushover and does whatever, baby does whatever he's told. Stop crying and get in the fucking robot, right? Is the meme. So you realize that, okay, Shinji is a complete pushover. Baby does whatever daddy says, whatever mommy says, whatever his friends say to do. He just does it. He has no backbone. He does what he's told all the time. But this is the first time we realize that not only does he do what he's told, he doesn't stop doing what he's told unless you deliberately tell him to stop. So it's literally like, Shinji, learn the cello. And then you might even forget you even told him to do it. It just doesn't
I
stop.
know, right? Imagine you're like playing around. You're like both of you are like 8 or 10 years old, and you're like, "Hey, I gotta go to guitar class or piano class," and Shinji's like, "Oh, that sounds cool. What instrument do you think I should play?" He's like, and you're like, "I don't know, maybe the cello." And you meet him 20 years later, and he's like, "Hey, I'm still playing the cello," and you're like, "Bitch, I just told you to play something.
Yeah.
To get off my back." Or to go and try something, not to fucking take it as a fucking religion, you dumb fuck.
Wolves wants to know if I'm watching the Netflix version. No. And if you're watching this VOD, do not watch the Netflix version. Find it however you can. The internet is vast. I don't condone bad behavior, but VPNs exist. The reason why I say don't watch the Netflix is because they decided to take it upon themselves to re-edit and change a bunch of shit that didn't need to be changed, because modern day reasons. So don't find Blu-ray copies exist on the internet, untouched.
On my Blu-ray I think had multiple English subs, and I think I picked the wrong one because on one specific scene he says "I'm the lowest of the low" when he actually says "I'm so fucked up."
Yeah,
And I think your dub also said that.
my dub also said that too.
Yeah, we didn't get it, but hey, we got the "Fly Me to the Moon" outro.
Yeah, they don't have the Fly Me to the Moon in the Netflix version. Oh, dude, that's pivotal, man. Like, it's weird, but like it's pivotal.
It's so good though. Like that female vocalist singing "Flying to the Moon" is so good.
Okay, we got that. We got these two backstory, love.
Started getting drunk and being like, "Oh, I'm a coward. I hate myself, and I need you to put your dick inside me so I can feel human."
Yeah. Romance.
Understandable.
But this is interesting. Now, up until this point, first off, all these characters are broken. All these characters are incredibly hard to read, right?
And unlikable.
They're all unlikable. Some of them.
Who's actually very likable?
Who?
There are actually 2 characters, I think.
Lay it on me.
Kaji and Pen Pen.
course. Listen. Absolutely. Kaji, I like. He's earnest, even though he's a spy, that seems counterintuitive, but it's true. But I would say, like, Misato's alcoholic, workaholic, broken person with mommy and daddy issues, like every single other person in this show, with the mommy and daddy issues. But I feel like she's at least somewhat bearable to be around. Like, she's not, like, she's a crazy broad, but like no crazier than any of the other women I've dated or known. Like, she's like, it's, but like these children, the 3 children, 4 if you count, 4 and 5 if you count what happens later on the series, you know, but like they're all completely unfucking hinged. Like, they are bonkers. They're Looney Tunes. I wouldn't want to be around any single one of them for like more than a few minutes. At least, like, you could probably grab a drink with Misato and like shoot the shit and stuff, and like Kaji.
Oh yeah, with Misato you can go drinking. And
Yeah,
probably
you have a smoke.
End up in her bed.
Maybe, right? Yeah, sure. With her white Japanese heels. Cool. These kids, though, get these fucking kids away from me. No way, dude. No
Put
way.
them in a fucking cage.
Hmm.
Dude, I wouldn't even want to be around Shinji to just kick his ass for the sport of it. He's not even good as a punching bag.
No, he's just a never-ending fountain of tears. Pi says, I remember when I legally acquired the first remake of the movies. The subs during the first launch of Unit 1 said balls, balls, balls. Excellent. Okay. So wait, the reason why I say this is because I'm curious. What do you think kicked this off? Like the whole, like, hey, let's make out, big boy.
First, she is fucking bored, and second, she is a tsundere. So, tsundere, this is where this trope gets birthed, is a girl who likes you or the character, but she's still a bitch to you. Like, she will go around kicking and slapping you, but she still likes you. And if you have the balls in the game to walk up to her and put the moves on her, she will fall for you. But this is fucking Shinji. The only way he gets action is if someone literally tells him, hey, let's make out.
Okay.
Which this scene got me even more mad, because unless someone literally tells Shinji to do something.
So what we're seeing here is she is into him. Like, she's pretending like she's not into him. She's pretending like...
But she is.
She's pretending like, oh, I'm bored. Let's just make out. Which is, by the way, I've never been bored enough to ask a friend that I have zero interest in to make out with me.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys in the chat have ever been bored enough to make out with a friend that you have absolutely no attraction to? Right? Ugh, I'm so bored. Ugh. We want to play some Mario Kart? No, let's make out while I strangle you. Yeah, no, it's weird. And then, but even this is like, he's like about to like suffocate to death. His body's like literally changing. He's turning into a zombie from not breathing. Okay.
And you know what's the worst part?
What?
Imagine a girl walks up to you and she's like, hey, you want a kiss? And she's basically your first kiss. She holds your nose, and right after she's done, she goes into the bathroom to rinse her mouth.
Yeah, she basically starts barfing. She's like, yeah, she's spitting things out. Yeah, no, it is dumb. Okay. Can't really say much about
Misato back on her bed, and this is another point for Kaji, is him being like, oh, he doesn't take advantage of her.
I will say,
he just
good on
her.
him. Good on him. He didn't get frisky. He could have, but he didn't. No frisk. Yeah.
My, you're horny.
Okay. And in the dub, they had an ending where Shinji says, I'm on the big blue ball. Can't really say much about Asuka without spoiling, but that's the real Asuka. The kissy face one?
Yeah, proper tsundere. Dude, a big point for this series artistically is the fucking sci-fi tech they're doing.
Yes.
Like this fucking, I knew you were gonna like this at the very least from an artistic standpoint because it's right up your alley, and they fucking knock it out of the park with with the Ava designs and now with all this random shit here.
You know what? I love this series if only for the tech itself. Is this this is the first time we see the angel, right?
Yeah, this is the first time we see Lilith. It was lied to the team that it's supposed to be Adam who causes the second impact, but no, it's actually Lilith.
Do we ever see Adam?
Yes, Adam is in. I'll
I know
mention it to you later.
Spoiler alert! I know Adam is located inside of a person. Spoiler alert! I know that much. Will we ever see it?
Yeah.
We will see it. You know, you show me.
No,
we don't see
not
it
directly like this.
Oh, see, that's what I was
it's
talking
not
about.
directly- It's like, yeah,
Okay.
It doesn't. I don't think we get a straight-on visual of it.
Okay, so we meet Lilith, lied to, yada yada yada. They say that this is responsible for the second impact, but it's very murky. I'm still personally a little confused.
Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of lying going around in this series. And we also see the Spear of Longinus.
Yes.
I think this is the first time we see it.
This is the first time we
Or
see
is
the
it the
spear.
second time?
The spear of I've heard it said Longinus, and I've heard it spelled. They said it another way in the movie. They said it one way in the TV show. They said a completely different way in the movie.
Yeah, it's either Longinus or Longinus, but
Yeah.
since we're cultured here, we call it Longinus.
Hello, Pinky. I hope you've seen this series. So yes, they lied to us and told us that this is the first angel, Adam. It is not. Welcome, Caspa.
We get attacked with, I don't remember which number of angel this is.
I forget exactly what number it is.
We get back on track with Shinji being in the middle of something and an angel attacking the city, just like we've been doing for the past like 14 episodes.
Yeah. Caspa, are you familiar? Welcome, Caspa, from the YouTube channel. Are you guys all familiar with this? Has everybody in the chat watched this? Have you not? Because we're going to keep going. We are now on episode 16. We're going to pick up some pace now. We kind of like the first half hour. We've been kind of goofing and talking with the chat. But you'll see. We're gonna start pounding through these, baby. This weird ball thingy shows up out of nowhere. Of course, the crew hops into ready formation like they do, and then well, shit goes absolutely sideways, as we will see. Our boy Shinji literally gets sucked up inside of this thing. He goes balls deep, if you will, inside of this big giant black orb that it starts to suck a city in. It expands and starts sucking in everything, including Shinji and his Eva. He eventually gets trapped. He gets trapped in there. They realize that he's only got about 16 hours of life support before he is just unalived.
Dead.
Yeah. So there's a scramble.
Before the thing literally melts.
Exactly. Casper says, I know what it is and the basis, but I haven't watched anything. I have not seen this, but like watching these shows, I haven't seen, so I have incentive to check them out. Okay. Well,
Great. We're doing our job then.
Yes. Oh, excellent. Well, we do these little recaps. And hopefully you guys check it out if you haven't already. And if you have, you could join in and give us your 2 cents like the weeb professionals that are hanging out in here. Bale, is this your favorite Eva? The big black orb? Marble orb?
Yeah.
Now, what ends up happening is they
basically give up on changing. They're like,
yeah,
hey,
he's dead. Is what
if we
they're.
can,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been like X amount of time. They're like, he's dead. We should try and salvage Unit 1 because it's extremely valuable. And Misato was like, wait, you're treating him just like a tool. And she's like, oh, he kind of fucking is a tool.
Yeah. Exactly. They give up on Shinji because he's in there for too long. And then also, I believe they come to realization that Shinji has... this is where he turns into primordial goo, right? This is the first time...
Yeah. This is where he becomes one with the cum.
Yeah. He becomes one with a cum? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so Shinji, inside of his biomech, Ava, is literally gooified. He is no longer Shinji. He is Shinji goo. And he is one with the angel. And he has this is the first episode. Episode 16 is the first episode where things get freaky. Things get real freaky. You see, like he's kind of real. He's kind of like like he exists, but he doesn't exist. It's an existential. Maybe we'll just call it existential chaos. This is the first episode where you really get to see that this show is absolutely bonkers. After they've given up on him, Hey, Bill, what's the thing that makes him snap out of it? Do you remember?
Yeah, his mom. Scroll further. It's his mom hugging. Scroll a bit forward.
His mom grabbing him? His naked mom looking like she's choking him out?
Yeah, his mom's spirit. This is also the start of a little bit of foreshadowing, which I don't know if you've picked up at the end, but I'll break it down.
Yeah.
Whenever we get there.
Yeah.
This starts a lot of foreshadowing, but
yeah, you're gonna have to break it down for me, man.
His mom's spirit, or her soul, however you want to treat it, shows up and gives him the attention and support he so drastically lacks and is hungry for.
Hungry for mommy support, mommy love. Okay.
As they have given up on Shinji, like, Shinji's dead, we should try to kill this thing somehow because its shadow fucking sucks everything up and salvage Eva Unit 1, but Eva Unit 1's like, nah, I ain't having that, fam, and she literally just bursts through it in the bloodiest fashion she can.
Yeah. This thing, yeah. He manages to, because of the weird longing for his mother, is able to recorporeal himself, right? He was this incorporeal thing. Then he was able to re-up himself and become a person again instead of goop, and murderize the shit out of the angel. And then who wakes him but his mommy / his love interest, Misato.
Guardian.
Yeah, oh man, this show is fucked, dude. This show is so fucked.
It's both
the essence
weird,
of his death. Think about what just transpired in the show. Shinji has turned to goop, sentient, weird, like space goo, ethereal goo. In his weird, ethereal daydream, existential nightmare realm in the angel, he has a weird dream about his naked mother embracing his naked body. He then becomes aware somewhat. His Ava wakes up, goes berserk, cuts itself out of this fucking living angel, tearing it to shreds, becoming a bloody nightmare. And then he wakes up and he's embraced by his love mommy. Really is drunk. Oh, fucking.
Is this what DMT is like?
We got to talk to Joe Rogan.
DMT. I know, right?
Jeez, man. Yo, choke me out and take me to the woods, dude. It's DMT time.
It's fucking weird.
And then and then his other sort of like love interest that he likes to jerk off to is hanging out watching while this transpires. It's all very strange. So strange. In this next one, the the second base in Nevada is destroyed. Or no, it disappears, right? It's there one
Just
moment
disappears. It
and it's gone.
just says, I'm out of here.
Thousands of people are now dead or missing. Everything is gone. They don't know why, right?
And most importantly, Ava units are gone.
Yes. Oh, how many Ava units were taken?
I think they said 3 or 4. That I can't remember. And here we're thrown into a new contraption, yet another term that the show throws at you, but this time they do a good job of explaining. It's a dummy plug. It's basically, you can put this into any Ava without necessarily needing a human pilot. And it's
Right.
based on...
Thank you. The introduction of, yes, the dummy, because up until this point, every Ava has had to have been piloted by a living person that has to be in sync with the unit in order to get it to do its thing. So we've seen. This is the first time we're introduced to the quote-unquote dummy unit, where you don't need a person. They're still working on it. It's not quite there, but it'll do in a pinch, the dummy unit. Right?
It's basically AI.
Yeah.
It's basically early AI.
And I think this
Now
is
Rebecca Esco, and of course Asuka is being a cunt to her husband, not husband, because he didn't bring lunch, and he couldn't cook because he had to do homework.
I think they start working on Unit 3, right? Yeah. They find the 4th child for the 3rd unit. Yeah, because they've got Unit 0, 1, and 2. And then they find a 4th child for Unit 3, which... spoiler alert, it's this dude. What's his name? Toji?
Toji.
Yeah. Old Toe Jam over here gets to be the 4th child and pilot Unit 3.
Yeah, I think they're back. Yeah, they're back at Ray's place, and she just shows up and then leaves.
Yeah.
And she does. Like she is so.
Yeah, because they clean up her place for her, and
Yeah, and this is the first time she actually says thank you, and she blushes for something that's not Shinji's dad.
blushing for Shinji's dad, the Ray story. That's kind of it for this episode, right? Episode 17. Oh, he hits on. Dude, this guy's an animal, man.
This guy is a fucking legend. He's like, hey, I'm young, I'm full of cum, and I'm going to fill each and every one of you ladies.
Do you remember what he says to this one?
I don't. She was like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Like I think she says something like commander or lieutenant. I don't remember her rank. Misato's not gonna like it. And he's like, oh, she's not in here right now.
He said so. She's like, well, maybe I shouldn't be talking to you. She says something about like talking, and then he says something like, well, you won't be able to talk if your mouth is on mine, right?
Oh yeah, she's like, I shouldn't be. I'm not allowed to talk to him. He's like, well, you wouldn't be talking when my lips are on top of yours, or something like
that.
Said, you don't need. He's like, you don't need to talk. You just need to swap spit, lady.
Right?
Get to work.
What an animal! What an absolute animal! Love this guy. This guy slings dick like nobody else.
Yes.
And also, he's also able to pull off the ponytail and the bangs, which is not an easy look to do as a man with long hair.
Oh yeah.
If I had bangs and a ponytail, that'd be no bueno. No bueno.
Have you tried it before?
No. I don't think I will either. Oh wait, what's up with this? Wait, remind me what happened to
He invites Shinji out for a drink or something. He's like, hey, you want to go grab some tea together? And Shinji's like, oh, I'm a dude.
You can't.
He's not hitting on you, Shinji, you dumb fuck.
I'm a dude, you can't bang me.
Not with that attitude.
Shinji's like, you're not my type, Kaji. Oh yeah, he introduces him to his watermelon because he's a gardener.
Yeah, I think Kaji is the most human and likable character in this series. He's like, hey, I'm a spy, but I like bitches and I like gardens.
Here we go. Here we get the this is the scene where Toji gets in his unit for the first time, and I think he loses his mind, right? Isn't that what happens? No. Right?
No, he does get in the unit, and then he does lose his mind.
Does that happen this episode? Yep. Wait for it. Dude, his unit is so badass.
I know, right?
Dude, it's so cool.
I think the
colors
are helping a lot. Like this super dark purple is on the spot, and yeah, this is him getting in the unit, and basically upon activation just gets infected or just goes berserk. It becomes an angel.
Wow.
The guy was fucked from the very start.
Wow, imagine getting so crazy you just become an angel. Just like that.
And I don't know if it's because of I can't theorize at the end of the series when we've talked about all of the information, but at this point I don't know if it's because of the Ava or because of the pilot. And yeah, they do try to subdue it. It does not.
It doesn't work.
It actually, since it's gone berserk and it's become an animal, it just beats the other two up.
It does, and it starts doing other stuff to him, like there's dripping goo into them.
Yeah, the corrosive. It starts dripping corrosive goo on them. It moves unnaturally. Look at its arms. It extends a couple of football stadiums long, and no Ava before that has shown to do such a thing. I mean, Unit 1 has shown to heal itself, but this thing, it truly has become an angel.
Yeah, okay, so in this scene, Toxic Wolf says misinterpreting his character. Elaborate if you want, Wolves. In this fight between
Whose character? Kaji's?
Shinji and Kaji. Kaji, who's been kind of taken over by an angel who's lost control of his unit. In this fight, Shinji actually doesn't know that it's Toji in there. And refuses to follow orders to kill him. So he... Okay, well, Shinji says, I'm not going to kill this. I know that there's a pilot in there that's human. I don't know who he is. I don't care who he is. I'd rather die than kill someone, which is pretty noble. You know? I'd rather die than have to take a life, kill somebody who doesn't deserve it. So Shinji kind of like forsakes his own life. His dad, however, has other intentions. So he cuts Shinji out and instead he uploads the dummy unit to Shinji's Ava. Or, the dummy control to Shinji's Ava. And of course it loses its damn mind and immediately starts to kill Toji's Ava, and then not just kill it. Oh, go on.
It fucking brutalizes it.
Yes.
In the most animalistic, inhumane fashion. Like, I know that they go berserk and they become like animals, but this was on a whole different level. This was straight up disrespectful.
Yeah. Now this scene had me with my mouth open when this happened. This shot here.
I know, right?
Because I was like, oh my god. Because I'm like, not only does the Ava want to rip this other Ava to shreds, it knows that this capsule, it knows on some level that this capsule has its like host in it, a pilot, and it's like, I see you, pilot, and goodbye.
and fuck you.
Yeah, and go fuck yourself. I'll see you in hell. Which is like, wow. I was really like, I was shocked, man. seeing that I was
at this point the series just starts rapidly ramping up the wow factor.
And I believe this this scene makes this scene makes him quit again, right?
I mean,
Toji lives,
yeah,
by the way.
because he finally nobody fucking dies here in this whole show. But yeah, Shinji does.
Also,
manage
how
to
did he
see in
survive
the end-
that? How the fuck
Yeah,
did
that's my
Toji?
point. No,
Where was
that's my
he?
point. Nobody fucking dies, which is a bit of a disappointment in this series. Like, there was all this shit going on. Nobody has said, "Hey, X amount of people died." It's like, "Oh, my sister got injured in that accident." Bitch, she should have been dead. You should have been dead as well.
You know, I was shocked and I didn't want Toji to die, but I think he probably should have died. But whatever. This does prompt Shinji to quit though, right?
It prompts him to lose his damn mind or whatever was left to him, because not only was his Ava killing a human in front of him without him being able to do something, it's one of his only guy friends. Like, if you count Kaji out, because I don't think they're actual friends, but
No.
he has only 2 friends here, and one of them was almost killed by his Ava.
Yeah, good point. So he's like, hey, his dad's like, you fucking disobeyed a direct order, you bitch. You don't fucking disobey daddy. And then Shinji, one of the rare moments where he actually shows up. That's the weird thing about Shinji. Shinji at times is a fucking badass. You know, that's at times is like, these are my fucking moral principles. I'm not following your fucking orders. Your orders be damned. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. You know, which is like, dude, like, that's some standing up to your dad, your commander, saying, listen, I would rather die than murder someone. Like, yo, that's some hero shit right there. That's some bad motherfucker shit. And then here, right, he's essentially being court-martialed, and they're like, what do you have to say for yourself, bitch? He's like, I'm fucking out. Shinji's out. Try doing this shit without me, you motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, he was like, that order was bullshit, and Shinji don't stand for no bullshit, although he's made of it. So Shinji out.
Yeah, but it's like, but then like he goes from this to like crying. It's like fucking never-ending tears.
Which is why Shinji's a massive bitch. And the second you get an inkling of liking him, being like, oh, he does have some backbone. He can do these things. Then 3 seconds later, he's back to being curled up in a ball and crying. And I'm like, son of a bitch, dude.
Okay. So he decides to bail again. He says I won't pilot an Ava. I won't pilot an Ava again. He says, spoiler alert, he will and does. If you're familiar with the series,
the first time he's done this.
Yeah, I think this is the second. This is definitely I think the third time he's done this. So yes, if you had to guess that Shinji walking away from this and saying he'll never fucking pilot, that he would be piloting an Ava, I think by the end of this episode, then you guessed correctly, because that's exactly what happens. I know he has a talk. He has a talk with okay. Of course, an angel shows up and starts attacking, and then they're like, oh, okay, toss a dummy unit into. I think they try to put Rei in Shinji's unit, and that doesn't work. And then they try to put a dummy, and that doesn't work. And then they all start getting their asses kicked.
Oh yeah, Asuka is getting mad destroyed here. Like, this is the biggest loss she's gonna suffer so far.
Yeah.
And how is she? They're so close to fucking space warfare.
Well, no,
and
it gets
fucking Kaji just watering his water.
Dude,
busts.
there is a scene in this episode where Shinji takes like the outer end of like a fucking nuclear style blast, and he just takes it. I think it's either this episode or it's got to be this one. A giant explosion happens. I wonder if you caught it. I think it's this one. Rei tries to do a little sacrifice, and oh fuck, damn it. I guess so. There's the fallout of this blast here. You see how everything's like the blast hits. And I distinctly remember Shinji like putting his arms up like while the blast happens, and like that's it. Whereas like, dude, you should have been like fucking full on like extra crispy fucking meat, dude.
Yeah, you should have become that scene from Terminator.
Yeah, no, he should have looked like Anakin Skywalker after the Mustafar fight, but he's just like, I'm Shinji. And sure, of course, guess what happens? Guess what happens? Look at that. Like about 10 slides later, he goes from, I'm never gonna pilot an Eva again, to, I am the pilot of Evangelion Unit 1. You dickhead, Shinji. Shinji, you stupid dickhead. And I believe he saves the day here.
Yeah, because the fucking angel breaks through and it actually reaches inside of HQ.
Right, which is
Just in
supposed to be a
time for him
no-no.
to show up. It's supposed to be first near impossible, but we saw that that's not true. But this thing like broke through all the defenses. It's like, hey, that's a good point, but I'm in your house.
So in the middle of this fight, oh yes, the power goes down. Now I remember what happens. This is a good fight. Right as Shinji's about to save the day, the power goes down. So now Shinji and his unit are out of juice. They're out of options. Every other Eva thus far has been incapacitated. So it's just these one-on-one, him versus the angel, and the angel clearly now has the upper hand. However, as we've seen before, Shinji's Eva has awoken before and has gone into a berserk rage like it does, and every now and then doesn't have to be powered externally. Also, this is a big one. This is the first time we see the angel-like sphere in the center of his unit, which up until this point we have not seen. We have not seen
the first time we see that an Eva basically has the same core as an angel.
Exactly. Sure enough, something is awoken. We see a little blue spirity flame, which symbolizes the who knows, the consciousness of the Eva taking control, whatever the fuck that is. And well, much like in the previous episode, it goes nuts. It goes crazy. It does for the first time. It rips off a piece of the angel and reabsorbs it into itself, reforming its arm. It's very human-like arm.
Extremely human, even.
Yes.
But yeah, this is also when they say that it has a 400% sync rate, which is unheard of up until now. And in this scene, we hear the very iconic and classic Eva roar when she goes nuts.
Yeah, and also we learn that it's a her. This is the first time I believe we see that it's a female unit, not just like this.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
somehow it has a gender.
It has a gender, which means wait, you know what? Wait, so Bale, that means that this Ava's got pussy, dude.
Yes, it does.
Now that's got to be a whole.
Yeah, pussy mix.
Now that's got to be a
The
whole.
best pussy I've ever taken.
That's got to be a whole other thing, right? Because now that we know that his Ava has got pussy, and that Shinji is inside of it, that's got to mean something. Listen. It
is gonna mean something, but I don't know if it's gonna mean the same thing you think.
Anyway, so it starts eating. It starts eating the angel, like just eating, champa, and then we realize that like also this thing, the armor isn't just armor. The armor actually allows them to control it, and armor which it is now broken free of.
And it also devoured the angel's S2 engine, which is something that Avas haven't been able to support so far. No experiments have failed, but this one is like, you know what? Instead of having one built for me, I'm just gonna eat one.
That's right. Yeah, it absorbs the S2 engine. What is the S2 engine? Is that the sphere thing? What is that?
Yeah, it's this super advanced engine that would allow Avas to not require external power.
Well, it eats it. Yummy, 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 get in my tummy. Yeah. Let's see. It hits the 400% sync rate. These two were fucking like getting like wet in their fucking panties because shit's about to jump off now. They know it's like, it's almost time, quote unquote.
It's written in the script.
It's written in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And if you don't know what that means, I don't either. So it's
the Dead Sea Scrolls are never explained.
they aren't, right?
Yeah, they're just there. It's the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's a script. But we do jump into them being one of the pennies, like, oh, it's all starting, and we see how fucked up the other units are.
Yeah. So I think in this, Shinji goes back to being goo here, right?
Yeah, he disappears again.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is
the Eva.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the Eva literally refuses to eject him.
Right.
They try mechanically going in there manually. It doesn't work. They go through the programs, through hacking the mainframe. That doesn't work. The Eva just says, fuck you. He's staying in there.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is Shinji goes back to goo form again. Like he did a few episodes ago. Full goo Shinji. And I think I'm pretty sure that's how he was able to achieve a 400% synchronicity, never before seen, is because him and the Eva merged when Shinji went goo. And once you go goo, you never go back. No, once you go goo, it's nothing but trouble for you because he's trapped in this fucking thing. And guess what? If you guess it's DMT time, you guessed right.
You guessed it, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think he sees his mom again, but like this is all in his own head. He's like, I think when you're in the train scene, I think he's talking to the Ava. I think that's what this represents. Like he's talking to himself, but I think he's also talking to the Ava.
Or yeah, it also could be, that brutally honest conversation you have in your head sometimes. Yeah,
it's vague. It's left very vague.
Yeah, it's very vague. It's very poetic, very philosophical, very snobby.
Right, because nothing is very clearly defined. So it's very ambiguous. Like, is he talking to himself? Is he talking to the AV unit? The AV unit also is like part angel, as like they've been talking, as we've seen. Like we literally saw the angel heart with inside his Ava, so we know they're at least like somewhat angel-esque. So like, does that connect him to a greater consciousness elsewhere? Because also again, I think we'll see his mother like we have in the past. It's all very weird. Oh, and then we have this iconic scene where it's like, I interpret this as like, Shinji, you want to bang me? Shinji, you want to bang me?
Of course.
Shinji, you want to drop those loads in me?
I think this is like basically his inner chaos and all the thoughts and feeling a teenage boy would have. It goes from like self-doubt to people are mad at me, people aren't mad at me, to him wanting to bang literally every walking woman he lays eyes on.
Yeah, he does kind of like he's thirsty for these gals. He's thirsty for like guardian mommy. He's thirsty for bitchy redhead. Thirsty for old dead eyes.
Emotionless.
Yeah.
Here's another thing.
the robot.
He I mean, the puppet.
Yeah.
In the Japanese version, Ray does speak with that emotionless voice, but in the American dub, she speaks with this husky sex baby voice.
Oh no.
I noticed.
It's pretty provocative. Yeah, so like he won't get out of the thing. He's having a fucking nervous breakdown, and then I think he vomits up. They think he's dead. And they think he's dead, and is it Misato or his mom Misato and his mom like both kind of like coax him out of this thing. He's like smells something.
His mom gives him another hug again, and then I think he hears or feels Misato's grief.
Yeah,
and that's the turning point.
Yeah, he gets so hard. In my headcanon, his boner gets so stiff that he is reborn. He's literally reborn. Like he literally shoots out of this thing like goo. Because as you can see, his suit is empty. Like his suit is elsewhere, and then like he is goo. He's pure goo. Again, which this is so fucking crazy. Like making any kind of sense of this is just it's a fool's errand. So like if you're listening to this and you don't know what I'm talking about and you're kind of confused, welcome to Evangelion. Yeah, this is the smell of my mother. And then and then she's weeping.
This is more foreshadowing. He's inside the Eva. He's like,
and then he's sucking on titty.
Like,
mommy, milk me, mommy. And then he goes from and then we got this line where it's like, oh, Shinji's dad always wanted to name his daughter Rei. And anyway, he gets gooed out. He gets fucking splooged out. He's a real boy again. From goo to boy, the Shinji story.
Yeah, Pinocchio ain't got shit on Shinji.
Yeah, Pinocchio. Yeah, wooden boy. Try being goo. Try being a goo baby. Dreaming about sucking on your mom's titties. Goo from the womb to tomb. Toxic Wolf's like, don't zoom in on it. How dare you? I gotta zoom in. Kaji and Misato bang again. And then there's a scene that sounds like they it sounded to me like anal sex was happening. Cause she's like, don't put strange things in there. And I was like, he's trying to do that like 1990s anal sex where it's like probably lubeless and stuff, you know?
Oh no.
I'm like, man.
You do hear the bed shifting from the thrust as well during this.
Yeah. No, you hear soft moaning and like bed slamming, and you hear moans. But then he gives her this pill, and then you're like, did he put like, all right, so this capsule here is crucial. This is a crucial thing that he apparently tries to slip inside of either her pussy or asshole. Which is a weird thing to do because, again, I can't stress this out enough. This capsule is important. There's an important thing inside this capsule that he literally just, I think, they don't tell you what orifice he tried to put this in. However, they are naked, they're having sex. So he took this and put it in one of her holes without asking.
I mean, here's the thing though. Kaji has so much game that he knows that no one else is going to fuck Misato anytime soon. So putting it inside of her is basically the safest place it can be.
It's crazy. Dude, that would be like, all right, guys, imagine I'm a spy. Or imagine you're a spy, for example. You're a spy and you're with your lover, male or female. You both have holes. And then as you're a spy, you're on a secret mission, you want to relay secret, important, vital information to your lover that they must have. And in the bedroom, you decide to take, maybe you've got like a thumb drive, and you decide to put that thumb drive in their body during sex. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's crazy. This is just like, I don't know.
People smuggle drugs like that, so why not secret files?
Anyway, so this as far as I'm concerned, that capsule was briefly in Misato's asshole. I don't know why, but it was in there. So just keep that in mind. Because of reasons. They didn't. He literally could have. All right. Well, listen. Artistic decisions were made. I don't know why, but there they are. Which leads us to episode 21. We only got like what, 5 more episodes left. Somebody's kidnapped, right? We start. I think this is where like Seal versus Nerve starts to happen. Seal is like, I think Seal's is Japanese, like the Japanese government. Seal is like run by, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they basically say we don't trust. I forget fucking Shinji's dad's name.
Gendo.
Gendo, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't trust Gendo that much, so we better start moving on our own script, the series script.
Yeah. No more of this Nerve shit. We're going Seal style. So they interrogate this dude who's working with Gendo, and they try to, bully him, get some information out of him, yada yada yada. And then we realize these are 2 factions. Now Nerve is supposed to work for Seal, but clearly Gendo has his very own ideology and his very own intentions, and they know that something's up. They don't trust him, and they kind of want to stage a coup, really. And also I think I think this is the episode where they find out that Kaji, right? These secret agents are looking for Kaji because they know that he's been a bad boy.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why they interrogated Misato earlier. They're like, hey, you are close to him. You are seen very often with him, so we need to put you in quarantine. Interrogate you, put you in quarantine, give us your gun, your badge, the rigmarole.
All right, so this is two things happen in this episode that are important. I'm just gonna peruse by them. This commander here was once a professor, and then they would do a flashback, and we get to see all the adults here in their pasts when they were young and still alive. So we see like Shinji's mom.
Get to see Shinji's mom.
We see Shinji's hot mom. We see the scientist lady, Ritsu, if that's how you say her name. We see young Gendo, who looks like a fucking lunatic.
He looks like a fucking meth addict.
Yeah, he looks like a crackhead completely. So we see young Gendo, who, this guy looks like, man, what an ugly motherfucker. God damn, this guy's ugly as shit. Anyway.
He got game though.
Dude, he's banging a lot of ladies. Spoiler alert. Can we, I'm just gonna say who he's banged, right? So he's banging Shinji's mom. Wait, what? Everyone. All right, here's who I noticed he banged. And the spoiler alerts, but I mean, if you're watching this, then you're cool with spoilers. But banging Shinji's mom, duh. Banging Ritsu's mom, right? The lady who makes up the computers.
Magi.
The Magina. And then I think he also starts banging Ritsu herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He bangs her as well.
Yeah, man, imagine banging somebody's mom and then banging their daughter, of when they're of age, of course. That's wild, dude.
Talk about game.
For a guy who looks like a fucking meth head, dude. From a guy who looks like Florida Man.
I know, right?
I'm gonna wrestle these gators. I've never met a gator that I couldn't wrestle. Like, he should have a mullet, missing teeth.
He wrestles gators and he wrestles pussy, and he's a lot of gators to wrestle.
Oh my god. I'm surprised he hasn't had a slice of Misato. Maybe he has and they just didn't write it in.
Yeah, and Shinji's mom looks oddly like Ray herself.
Like Ray. Yes. Shinji's mom looks near identical to Ray. It's kind of weird. That's Ritsu's mom. Blah blah blah. Then we get flash forward. We get this cutesy.
We get to see the trio meet up.
Yeah.
And how Misato basically pulled a bajillion rain checks on Ritsuko because he was fucking she was fucking Kaji in her room.
Yeah.
For like a week.
For a
straight.
week. Yeah, they mentioned that a bunch. That when Kaji and Misato were young, they fucked for like a week. Like they mentioned it multiple times that they had like which is a crazy thing to keep bringing up, but okay.
I know, right?
Like they really they talk about. I feel like they talk about Misato and Kaji having crazy sex for a week straight. I feel like they bring that up more than like the Dead Sea Scrolls. like
Yes.
Anyway, so we see Kid Shinji. We see what popped off right before the second event or whatever the hell it's called.
Second impact.
Second impact. We see Ritsu watching her mom hook up with Gendo right after Shinji's mom died, his wife. Very weird.
Yeah, and Gendo doesn't keep any photos of his wife, like any memorabilia, any sort of thing that could remind him of her. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the guy's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and very quickly after Shinji's mom dies, we meet Baby Ray.
Sweet Baby Ray. Yeah, so yeah, we meet Sweet Baby Ray, and it looks like Ritsu's mom is kind of resentful towards Baby Ray. And then, all right, here, I need you to explain something to me. I need you to explain something to me. This, all right, this scene right here. She's like, none of your business, you old hag.
Oh, how she basically turns into a Skinwalker possessed demon for this conversation. Kids say the darnest things.
I can go home by myself, so leave me alone, you old hag. And then she's like, stop calling me you old. She's like, that's really fucking rude, you little shit. Stop calling me that. And then she's like, that's what the director calls you. And then she starts to kill her. Yeah, she starts choking the life out of Ray. And then she kills her. And then her fucking head explodes. So
no, she jumps.
Oh. Okay, I did not.
Jump. This is on top of. Imagine the perspective. This is on top where the seats are, and this is like on the bottom floor. So she jumps up from the top of the computers where the control panels are. She just throws herself off.
I wish they had fucking like shown or explained that a little bit more, because to me, I was like, "What happened?" All right, here. This is essentially what it's like. Look. This is what we see. We see her like, I'm gonna fucking kill this kid who's calling me an old hag because I'm a crazy bitch for some reason. Anyway, I'm killing kids. Here's what we see. We see a woman snap and start killing kids. And then we don't see her jump. We see this. So I'm like, what?
we hear it. We do hear a fall though.
Fuck you. No way. I heard a head explode is what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, the head did explode from a fall.
Come on.
It doesn't show enough on
what?
Later they do mention that she offed herself, and you're like, I wish you fucking showed it, because you've shown us some gruesome shit beforehand. You think they'd show you this?
I thought Ray killed her for a second. I thought like Ray like did something to her, like did her like some weird voodoo.
Ray called her an old hag, and she's like, "Oh, you're just as replaceable as me, you little cunt kid."
Oh, and then Kaji dies. Yeah. Hey, you're late. And then he gets his brains blown out. They don't show it though. You just hear a gunshot. And then
how come we can see the Avas throw around gallons of blood and guts and teeth and bone
Avas are eating things.
But
we just watched a woman's head explode.
Yeah, but we can't watch a guy get his brains blown out or a woman
Yeah.
just throw herself off a building. Basically.
Yeah, why does he get like a quiet, subtle ending? That's dumb. Yeah, well, let's watch Kaji, because I think that would be more substantial if we watch Kaji get gunned down.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking Misato's no dummy, and she's able to piece together that Kaji's dead. He leaves her a goodbye message that she listens to on repeat.
I love this 3 section of screenshots because it basically shows how much of a bitch Shinji is. He's like, I walk in, I hear Misato cry, I walk out. he is, I don't want to say mature, but he is conscious enough to say, I'm just a kid, I don't know what I can do for her. And he just fucks off, and I'm like, you can just go and hug her and be there.
Yeah.
Like you're conscious enough to be like, I'm just a kid, but you're not conscious enough to say like, maybe I should at least put my hand on her shoulder and be like, there.
Put your hand on my shoulder. Yeah, no, Shinji's a complex little boy. He's a complex little bitch boy. And then there's this scene where fucking child 14-year-old what's her face Asuka.
This
like,
isn't even 14. This is earlier. This is in the past, so she's probably like 13 or 12 here.
She's like, fucking, let me get some of that.
And she's like, I don't. She's like, I don't want any breasts. I want a man with experience, and I'm all grown. Look at me, I'm all grown now.
Yeah, no, it's fucking creepy as shit.
I think that we should consider having them arrested.
She's like, I'm grown up enough. Look at my no titties. It's like she really pulls out like the trade. She's got like a training bra on. She's like, look at these bad boys. What do you say? It's like, I'm like, yo, I'm Kaji. I'm not Japanese Epstein. Get out of here.
No.
It's pretty hilarious. He's like, yo, get the fuck out of here, dude. It's like, which is like another, hey, dude, fucking again, dude, base Kaji being based.
I know, right?
Dude, I'm getting out of here.
What are the 2 likable characters in this show, and he's already dead?
Right? Womp, 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 womp.
And the other one's a fucking penguin, so you can only imagine how fucked things are.
Yeah, so we get
we jump into a backstory of Asuka, which we see that, surprise, she's also broken and has mommy issues.
big time. Oh yeah, her mom's a cunt who hated her, had a mental breakdown, decided to ignore her actual daughter, Asuka, and instead nurture a doll in her place, which is absolutely bonkers. Completely unhinged and crazy, super weird, and yeah,
It doesn't look right. It looks unnatural.
the entire show should be called Mommy Issues. It really should be. Yeah, every one of these gals has got mommy issues, except Misato's daddy issues, because she confesses that when she was banging Kaji, she was pretty much banging her dad, and she says that a lot too. She's like, "You're so much like my dad. You're so much like my dad." And it's like, imagine you're dating a woman. She's like, "Oh," but it's not like. Listen, I'm not really into the whole daddy thing. You know, not my bad. But like, I could see that at least. Like that's a little kinky for some people. But she's like, no. She's like, "You're like my dad. You're just like my dad." And it's like, no, no. Shut up! Stop it! You know, knock it off.
Too much.
That's too much. Stop telling me how much I remind you of your dad. It's freaky. It's weird as shit. It's unsettling, man. Imagine.
No.
Yeah, imagine you trying to bang her.
It's
She's like,
weird as
"Ah,
shit."
just like my dad." Ah. Like, what the fuck?
I know, right?
God, man.
Or you say something to her like, oh, you look like, I don't know, you're banging her in some position, you go, oh, you're very cute like that, and she's like, my dad tells me the same thing. And you're like, oh,
Yeah, no. So I think this episode, Asuka, not only do we get a little bit of her backstory, but we see that I think she starts losing, right? She starts doing worse in the sink.
After
Yeah.
after they got their asses whooped and they had to get saved by Shinji again, like her sync rate has been going down, and that fuels her mental illness, and which probably goes into it goes into her sync rate going down, which also fuels her mental illness, which makes her sync rate go down.
Yeah. This is where Asuka has been, much like all the other characters, but specifically her in these last few episodes, she's been able to keep it together so far, barely. Tentative grasp on her mental health, her sanity. After the last few losses and constantly comparing herself to Shinji and ignoring her traumatic history, she has a nervous breakdown. So like we see her in these last few scenes, she's losing her fucking mind. And to Bale's point, the more she loses her grip, the worse her synchronization with her Ava gets, and then the worse she feels, and so on and so forth, until she actually, I think, can't use her Ava anymore. I don't think we're there yet here, but that's where she's headed.
We're not there yet, but we're on that path.
Yeah.
And we have yet another awkward elevator conversation.
Yeah. She slaps the shit out of Ray here. She calls Ray a puppet. Which is a funny thing to call somebody.
She bitch slaps her, and Ray's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. Understandable. Have a nice day. And here's the thing though, Asuka never blames herself. She's like super competitive, but whenever something goes wrong, it's never her fault. And she's talking to her Ava here, and she's like, oh, are you working now, you piece of trash? And I'm like, bitch, you know you're the pilot, right?
Yeah, right. So again, another instance, and also this, by the way, she goes under full kind of psychic attack by the angel. That's the best way to describe
a new
it.
angel from orbit. She literally gets nuked from orbit.
Yeah, no, she gets brain fried completely from orbit. Like her brain is like, here's a good depiction of what's happening to her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but she's, to her credit, she doesn't give up, even though her brain is fucking mac and cheese. They can't shoot it from orbit, it's too far. They decide to use the Longinus, right?
Yeah, the Spear of Longinus.
They use Longinus, and then that's how
We're
they
thrown into more background of Asuka.
Oh, yeah,
This is her having a complete breakdown.
Yes, Asuka still having a breakdown, now exacerbated by the psychic attack by the angel.
Yeah, this is basically the angel poking into her mind and be like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is spicy. Tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, remember that time you pulled out your training bra to hook up man who's like probably like fucking 3 times your age? Yeah, I don't know, more of Asuka just having a fucking complete breakdown. Absolute breakdown. Brain melting, brain fried. Can't pilot her shit. Ray gets the lance, pulls the lance out of the angel that they've got deep in the bowels of Nerve HQ. Its legs grow back. They shoot it out into space. It blows the thing up. Now the lance is useless, and it's orbiting the planet, or the moon rather, orbiting the moon. They toss her in quarantine, and Misato is still having a breakdown because Kaji is dead, and she is still listening to his final voicemail over and over and over and over again. Did I miss anything, Vale?
There is a moment where when they send Ray to retrieve the Spear of Longinus from the basement, basically, Misato does ask Gendo, hey, wouldn't we cause a third impact if we put Lilith and Adam close together? And Gendo doesn't react, and she's like, oh, so that was also a lie. Because
That's what he said.
Up to this point, they still think that the angel that's stuck there is Adam.
Right. Oh, look, a little, I guess that's supposed to be a Sega, nod. Sega.
That's how Sega got involved. Yeah, but we see Asuka retreat into basically being a naked beard. Instead of dealing with her mental health, she's like, I'm gonna camp out at my friend's couch and gonna play video games all day.
Oh, in this one, oh, yes. This is a sad one. This is a little bit of a sad one. There is another angel attack. This angel starts to freakishly merge with Rei. Shinji hops to in order to save her, while this angel begins to merge with Rei, the same way the angels merged with or tried to merge with Shinji in the past, and the angel previously, the most recent one from orbit, tried to merge itself with Asuka. Now Rei's up at bat, and this angel is getting into her mind also. And it makes Rei, for the first time, cry, I think. This is the first time we see her crying.
Yeah. This is the first time we see her crying and her being somewhat honest with herself about her feelings.
Yeah. Which is sorrow. Sorrow is according to the angel, right?
Yeah. And it's also her desire to be one with Shinji. For some reason, it's fucking Shinji.
Shinji's the fucking... Listen, yeah, look at this. Yeah, look at her fake goo body. She wants some of that fucking Shinj. Give me some of that Shinji. Anyway.
Maybe because she knows she can be on top always, because unless she tells him to...
Because he's a dickhead.
to get on top, he never will.
Yes, so... She makes a... Shinji got game from his daddy. That's right, his daddy is quite the cocksmith. So, Rei actually does a really kind of beautiful sacrifice play here. She sees that the alien is going to try to absorb Shinji as well, and she uses her AT field to kind of slurp that fucking angel back into her own AT field and body. And then as it's being slurped up back into her body, she self-destructs.
Yeah. And there's also a pregnancy / giving birth, not metaphor, symbolism back there. Like if you pull back a few screenshots when it's quote unquote belly is like inflated.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, giving
there's a lot of giving birth and sexual not innuendo but symbolism
yeah.
here, especially in End of Eva.
Yeah, mommy stuff.
Oh yeah, you do not know yet how accurate you are with that phrase.
Yeah. Yeah, Rei blows herself up. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's basically she sucked up the angel within her AT field. I don't know why I don't know why. It's been like 5 times now, and back when I was thinking about it while watching it, I've been wanting to say ATF field for some fucking reason.
ATF. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? That's the fucking...
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh. Let's see, let me fast forward. Because after all this, guess who's found? Miraculously, Rei shows up after she blew herself to smithereens. Somehow, Rei is quote-unquote recovered, which is fishy as hell. Bale, you want to tell him what happened?
We haven't gotten to that point yet, but
Okay,
when you
suspect.
see someone, go up in such a blaze of glory, in such a spectacular explosion, you'd think that you wouldn't find even like a burned piece of cloth from them.
Yeah,
But no, here she is with probably a busted arm and a hurt eye.
right. Yeah, again, let me
And-
just.
and she says-
I'm just gonna power scroll back a few. This is where we last saw Rey. We saw her entire Ava unit turn into an angel, and then go thermonuclear. Just like just atomized. And then from atomization, we get a little oopsie doopsie. Oh, what, that old thing? Being completely obliterated? Being essentially Thanos snapped? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I got this.
Yeah, because I'm the third one.
Yeah. Yeah. She again has she kind of lets it slip. She says she says to herself, "This is the first time I'm seeing these glasses, but I'm crying." She has a very weird.
Yeah, and she also attempted to break them but stopped herself. But before that, last time we saw her handle those glasses, she handled those glasses like they were some family heirloom.
Right. Oh yeah, they interrogate Ritsu while she's buck naked.
Yeah, I don't know why they needed her to be butt naked, but
Oh, here we go. We finally
Wait, oh,
yeah,
oh.
here we go. The capsule that was inside.
Pill.
Yes, that's right. The capsule Misato opens the capsule that was inside of her butthole to uncover a secret chip. That capsule wasn't just for booty play.
Look at this butthole.
That's exactly right. And then I think what happens? Oh,
Yeah, she figures out the truth, and Celia are like, "Hey, we gotta blow Tokyo 3 up because that's what says in the script, and it will further our plans." And Misato's like, "You know what? Fuck all of this. I'm going to figure out everything." She jumps Ritsuko and she's like, "Show me everything." She's like, "Yeah, but also Shinji's gonna have to see everything." And they end up here in this warehouse lab on this fucking
wait for
Mexican plastic surgery table.
Wait for it. Boom. There we go. It's nothing but naked Rey everywhere. She's a clone. She's a big titty clone. Well, for her size.
Yeah, and now you know why she said I'm probably the third one. And if you remember from the previous week, I screenshot every time an episode had the name Ray 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're dealing with the Rey that we currently have is Rey 3.
Yes, and here's the thing: these that you see here aren't technically human. They don't have a soul. They're
empty.
animated.
They're dummies.
Body parts.
They're puppets.
Yes, they're dummies, and they got destroyed.
Yeah. And then Ritsu's like,
'Cause
goodbye,
Ritsuko is
dummies.
like,
It's weird as shit.
yeah, Ritsuko is like, Gendo isn't giving me enough dick or any dick anymore, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a tantrum. I'm gonna destroy
Exactly.
his favorite toys.
Yes. The guy who was banging my mom, who's old enough to be my dad, stopped banging me, and he made me go naked in front of the council. Again, fucking crazy. This is a crazy sentence. You know how crazy that is to say? Let me say that again. Ritsu is saying, the guy who used to bang my mom before she killed herself, who's now banging me, stopped banging me and sent me to the council naked. So I'm now going to destroy these clones.
He also sent her to the council naked, instead of sending Ray, who was basically just a clone, an empty shell with a soul inserted inside her. There is no more dehumanizing aspect than that.
Yeah.
Like they opted to send a genuine human instead of like an actual puppet in front of the council.
Asuka's still suffering with horrible depression. We only have 3 episodes left, and the last 2 are super weird. So this is I think this is the last like semi-regular episode 24.
Yeah.
Asuka has such bad depression. She is she goes on the lam and is essentially fully out. She's out to lunch, man. She's gone. Asuka's no longer at home. She bye-bye.
There's a close-up where you see that her cheeks are sunk in.
Yeah, did you take a screenshot of that?
Yeah,
Where,
it shows up a bit later.
Scroll. Oh, before we look at her sunken in cheeks, we meet another kid. Cool kid. Look at this cool boy. Cool boy says, "Hey, Shinji, I'm cool. I'm kind of homosexual. What do you say, Shinji?" Shinji's like, maybe me too. Shinji's like, yeah.
He meets Kaoru like in the first like 30 seconds of them talking. He's already blushing like a little bitch.
Yeah, Shinji. I think Shinji might be a little bi-curious.
Oh my.
Because this guy's like, hey, he's like, yeah, let's get in the showers together, Shinji. What do you say? And Shinji's like, yeah, man, I'll get in the shower with you. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to touch my erection?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, this kid's like, hey, Shinji, where you going? Shinji's like, well, normally when I'm done with the Eva stuff, I usually just take a shower and go to my room. He's like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, Shinji. And Shinji's like, fuck yeah, let's get in the shower together. What?
Yeah, I mean, remember who Shinji is. If you tell him to do something,
He'll do it.
he'll fucking do it.
But not necessarily, because think about it. Kachi's like, Shinji, you want to go get something to eat? And Shinji's like, I'm not a British cigarette. You know, like,
I'm not a bundle of sticks.
yeah. Because, yeah, remember, yeah, keep in mind, Kaji tried to, like, ask him out as a friend / like guardian for something to eat. And Shinji's like, yo, Shinji, don't play that. Get out of here, Kaji. You can't bang me. I'm a boy. But then here, Shinji's like, maybe I am a bottom. Right?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think Shinji declined Kaji because he didn't necessarily like him. And he liked Kaoru from the second he met him somehow.
Yeah.
And Kaoru's playing the insecure high school girl with braces game. He's just throwing compliments at him. And then Shinji's like, what do all those compliments mean? And then Kaoru says, well, it means I love you, baby.
Yeah. I love you, Shinji. This is crazy. This show is so fucking crazy. This guy shows up. This guy's been here. He's been at Nerve Base all of 10 minutes. And he's like, Shinji, let's shower together. And Shinji's like, okay. He's like, Shinji, let's hold hands. You got it, big boy. Shinji, I love you. I'm surprised Shinji wasn't like, I love you too. Let me S that D. Like, what the... Like... Shinji's... Yeah.
And here's a very interesting part. The Netflix adaptation,
Yeah.
re-edit,
Oh, God.
took that "I love you" phrase out and changed it to something else.
Well, that's
I
not
don't
very...
know what they said.
That's not very inclusive.
It's not very progressive of you, Netflix.
Yeah, it's not very cash money. And like, again, listen, Shinji being a bi-curious, like semi-homosexual actually tracks. Like, that's...
Oh, here's Adam.
Oh, there he is. Oh. So yeah, we're looking at Gendo's hand. Or, well, if you didn't know, that is Gendo's hand, right? Gendo's the one with Adam in him.
Yeah, he's alone with Adam on his hand, and he's talking to the ape, and he's saying, just a little longer, Yui, for some fucking reason.
Yeah. And then look at these two. Look at these two. I'm surprised they weren't full spooning.
I mean, by the look of Shinji's face, he was fucking thinking about it, I'm sure.
He was fucking bricked up is what he was.
Why do I feel that every time you mention bricked up, I think about someone who was constipated and not hard?
No. Bricked up means hard. Hard as a rock.
Okay.
Well, hard as a brick. Oh. So we know something's not right with this kid. Yeah, look how far away she is. She's like 100.
She's using fucking binoculars.
Yeah,
and
she's
the
using
guy
binoculars
just
at
turns her
100 at 100x magnification. She's far fucking away, and this motherfucker's like, "What's up, girl?" Like he's he's fucking like he spots her.
Like you Marin. Like you Marin.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. There she is with her sunken in cheeks, looking like a crack at herself. Little gay man here is the replacement for her, and then we realize that he is an angel. He is the final angel, and he merges with her Ava without having to go anywhere near it, like inside of it, and it's just like, yeah, this Ava's mine now. I'm an angel. Let's go. Let's go see that angel that you've got in the basement. Here we go. And Shinji shows up like a scorned lover.
Literally like a scorned. He's like, my feeling.
How could you? I loved you. I only met you all 20 minutes ago, but I love you. How could you? We held hands. We looked at each other's dicks in the shower.
And Koro's like, bitch, you didn't realize you were a pump in them?
Yeah. So yeah, they get into a tussle. He says that he's born of Adam.
Just as the Ava series are. So yeah, them having an angel core makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And yeah, this is where the show finally tells us that, oh, it's not Adam they have in the basement, it's fucking Lilith.
It's Lilith, yes. Lilith is in the basement, not Adam. And then here's a slight spoiler alert, but you'll be seeing this soon enough. Lilith and Adam are forbidden to meet. And well, Shinji murders his lover.
Oh, when you scroll back with the scene, a lot of people have pointed out how the scene where Unit 1 is holding Kaoru is a perfect usage of the golden ratio.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, the thing about that is you can just transform it and move it around to fit your agenda, but
yeah. Okay.
I think the rule of thirds would be better here because more or less that's where the Ava's hand would be.
Yes.
In the lower third.
Yeah, no, actually, I will say you could probably superimpose the goal ratio on top of this, and it's pretty spot on. But listen, you could do that with some of the best design stuff. I'm sure there are plenty of other panels in here where the golden ratio works, because the golden ratio and the rule of thirds, they almost sync up 1-to-1. They're a little bit different, but it's pretty fucking on the money. Anyway, if you don't know what we're talking about, Google golden ratio. Now, he actually falls in the water like a turd.
Yeah, another time, this guy's supposed to be an angel, but he's in human form, and we don't see him getting killed. Like, this is the second time a human dies, quote unquote human, dies, and we don't see him get his brains blown out. Why, anime? Like, we can see the Ava literally rip another monster in half, spill its guts throughout the entire city, and play jump rope with its intestines, but we can't see a human-like figure get his brain popped like a zit. Yeah,
no, we just see they don't show. It looks like I looked at the video of it. They just show like a blob of like turd-sized nuggy falling into the water, and then you see this bloody hand, and that's all you get.
Yeah, it's what I get. I went back probably more than 10 times to try and get a proper screenshot, but no. Oh, here's the thing. We just see his head. I love the G fucking bundle of sticks.
I loved him. I loved him. You just met this guy. Shinji's so fucked up, man. He really is fucked up. God.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
the meme of, oh, you just met someone you imagined your entire life with them in like 0.5 seconds. That is fucking Shinji.
Yeah. Oh, so here we go.
This is episode 25, where the no budget allowed shit goes down.
Okay, yeah. So
But
episode. Yeah, go on.
We have two great scenes here. One of them is the iconic Shinji being alone on a chair scene.
Yes.
And the other one is like at the end of episode 26.
This is iconic. And this is here we go. Shit starts getting crazy. Episode 25 and 26 is where we're introduced to the human. Hang on. I wrote it down. Human Instrumentality Project. Which is all right. So essentially, Seal. I'm pretty sure it's Seal. What they want is all of humanity. It turns out us, you, me, Bale, in this world, we have what keeps us and not goo, primordial goo, is our AT fields, right? Matter of fact, any of you guys who watch The Watchmen, they deal with a similar thing, right? What happens to what makes John Osterman become Dr. Manhattan is he loses his, I think they call it the intrinsic field. He loses his intrinsic field and he's able to recombine himself, and that's how he becomes essentially a god. But it's similar here, right? Instead of an intrinsic field, we have AT fields. I don't know what AT stands for. Who the fuck knows? But
yeah, the show doesn't tell you.
Right. Your guess is as good as mine. But essentially, Seal is like, hey, humanity is assed out because this entire time, as humanity suffers in isolation because we are all inherently, you are born alone and you die alone, and everything that happens in between is depressing and sad because you're by yourself. You are a solitary being doomed to isolation. So they say, hey, fuck all that. Let's get rid of all of our AT fields. We'll all become goo and we'll all become one and live happily ever after in existential goo. Right? And I think that's the Human Instrumentality Project.
Yeah, that's it. They're like, hey, because of AT fields, there is rejection and pain and misery and unrequited love and yada yada yada. But if we get rid of all that, there will only be love and feeling good, and you will never be alone because you will be literally with everyone else at the same time, everywhere and nowhere. It's basically a suicide cult. Kind
of, yeah. Yeah. You are everything and you are nothing all at the same time. And yeah, we see the three of them are all in this kind of, all part of the Human Instrumentality Project. And yeah, they're all like dead and not dead at the same time. And you're in their psyches.
It goes into a very philosophical view of what makes you. Is it just you in your own head, or the you that others perceive and think of, or is it a combination of them, or is it none?
Right, exactly.
And now you know why Eva fans are such snobs.
Yeah, they don't. This, and if you're like, hey, what the hell kind of ending is this? Because you're like, all these are very existential questions, right? Because it's not like, why is this guy blue? And then they're like, oh, well, it's the atmosphere and it's this and this, that. It's not like it's it's almost like asking why. It's just like asking why, period. And then all the insanity that's ensued. Now we get like a bunch of character backstories here. Like Asuka apparently watched her mother hang herself, and when she did, she was smiling when she did so, which not great for a child. But yeah. But we see this kind of like juxtaposition of like, who is the real Asuka? Is it the cheerleadery popular girl? Is it the self-assured Ava Pilot? Is it the girl full of self-doubt and self-hatred? Is it the girl that her friends see? And we see this with each single character in this show, at least the main characters, with this crazy existential breakdown. It's all, again, I can't really break this down for you because it is sheer existentialism. And if you've ever gotten high and have stayed up too long and have kind of looked into the stars and have wondered what the fuck is it all for, and if you've ever wondered who you are in your darkest moments, imagine that but in anime form. It's just...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we get into the deepest, I don't want to say fear, I want to say desires of our main trio, which is don't kill me, don't leave me alone, and don't hate me.
Right. It's all of it. It's like, don't hate me, don't love me, leave me alone, stay near me. Who am I? Why am I? What am I? And it's, you know, it's all those answers. It's none of those answers. It's bad animation. It's bad animation or no animation.
This is where they do not have a budget. Like you can see, this is fucking drawn on a piece of paper with like, it's not watercolor, it's probably
marker.
Copic markers.
Yeah, Copic marker and sketches.
Maybe not even Copic marker. Maybe it's just fucking your dollar store markers. And yeah, Shinji's first flying is like, oh, you're limitless here. There's no hurt. There's no pain. He's like, but there's no one else for me to interact with. And if I don't interact with anyone, am I really alive? And yada yada yada. And we see that is just a possibility that the human instrumentality project can bring. And now we jump into another one, which is Asuka, you know, still being a bitch because it's Asuka waking Shinji up, and she commits the grave error of pulling the covers off of a teenage boy early in the morning. And we also meet actual human Rei, who the entire series, especially those 2 episodes, are worth it solely because of the scene of Rei running down the street with a piece of toast in her mouth.
Very, very cute.
That is the sole reason we are here for. Is for cute human actually having emotions, right?
Yeah, no. Actually, you know what's funny? During this scene, this whole scene is actually pretty much your run-of-the-mill shonen. Like,
yeah,
everybody's very cute. It's very silly. There are absolutely no stakes. You know, the highest stakes is when Shinji sees accidentally Rei's panties and they bring it up. And besides that, it's a very cute shonen. And then the budget runs out again, and we're back to markers and pens. And then we realize that this is just one possibility of many. And then we realize that, you know, Shinji comes to terms that there are many different possibilities for reality. Existence isn't fixed. Kind of like, I guess part of the message, this isn't the entire message, but part of it is your existence is what you make it.
Yeah, and even though you might be suffering greatly now, it doesn't mean it's going to be permanent.
Right.
And things can get better. But I think this is just brought up in the End of Eva, but since we're talking about it now, we should mention it now. Things will get better, but you need to get up off your ass and do something about it.
Yeah. Shinji kind of comes to terms with this. He kind of comes to terms with himself, and at the end, all of the characters applaud him, and that's how the fucking entire show ends. And
yeah, this is yet another classic scene that's also been memed to death of everybody applauding Shinji, be like, yeah, congratulations, you finally accepted yourself and that you can change and that pain is not permanent, but you know, joy can also be achieved if you work for it.
Yeah, weird. a very weird existential kooky ending to a kooky show. Which brings us to the last part, which is because this ending was so wonky and weird and unfinished, because they literally ran out of budget. So lots of this isn't even animated. Lots of this is just like rehashing of old scenes, and as well as and that's filled in by like crappy. It's like literally like drawn on pieces of paper. Like they literally had no budget whatsoever. And somebody had some markers and some pens and decided to end the show. And so immediately people were like, what the fuck is this? Give us some fucking answers, please. So they made the movie, or so I am told. And that's where we get End of Eva. Where are you? Here. You want to do some End of Eva, buddy?
Oh yeah, I mean we gotta end Eva. It's not gonna take that long. So unless we stop to talk about every artistic part or every weird part, like each and every screenshot, it's not gonna take long. But
no, we can wrap this movie up in like 15 minutes, easy.
Oh yeah. End of Eva picks up after episode 24. So this is Asuka being retrieved, her having had her full mental breakdown.
Yes.
And Shinji having killed his first love.
Yes.
Basically.
Shinji's killed his lover.
And he is he's being a little bitch because he is asking for help from an unconscious girl.
Yeah. He is asking for her help.
So.
He pulls her comatose body and he sees her titties. And immediately
her plump, young titties.
And then immediately starts jerking off to her comatose body, seeing her titties right there. Beats his meat. And yeah, I'm lowest of the low is what he says here. But and it's what he said in the anime that I was listening to dubbed. But the traditional line is, I'm so fucked up. Which I prefer that line. Because I think that that line is just, it's better.
It best describes Shinji.
Yeah.
Out of the options, that's the best one.
So he jerks off to his comatose friend's body. We also see
different organizations having their different plans, while Gendo is like, we can use the Eva in the instrumentality project to evolve humans, to push us further. And meanwhile Celia are like, nah mate, we be dying.
Yeah.
And they attack HQ and they pull out the doctor and they're like, hey, we need you to counter-hack the mainframe again.
Right. Here. Seal discovers that Gendo is what Bale said. Seal has got its own ideas for what should happen to humanity. Gendo has different ideas of what should happen to humanity, and each are going to try to enact their own will on the situation, which causes Seal to attack Nerve HQ and murder just about the majority of them, because Seal forces far outnumber Nerve forces. In the middle of this mayhem, Misato runs to save Shinji because she realizes that Seal, in order to truly stop Nerve, Seal has to take the pilots off the board, because the second the Eva pilots get in their units, it's going to be really, really fucking difficult for them. They're going to be damn near unstoppable. What?
Unless you have an angel, it's done so. Unless you have an angel in your pocket, you cannot beat an Eva with like your regular military.
Right.
I don't even know if a nuke is gonna work.
So what ends up happening is Misato gives the order to here, perfect time, go ahead and put her in unit 2. So they're like, okay, take this comatose girl and shove her in her Eva unit, if only to just keep her safe. The safest place for her to be is in her own Eva unit. Throw it under a lake, put her in it, don't worry about it. And then she runs off to go save Shinji, who is useless, and deliberately
Big shock right there.
deliberately being haunted by these SEAL agents as they storm the
Also,
entire operation.
Shinji is deliberately useless here. It's not like he's cowering and he is stuck. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, he's sitting there waiting to die, and they are about to blow his brains out when she comes in and saves the day. While she's saving his life, Gendo goes to retrieve Rei because he has his own plans for her.
Why are you naked?
He's going to take Rei, and he possesses Adam, and she possesses Lilith. Is that what it is?
Yes.
There you go. And he's going to use his Adam, her Lilith, and merge the two of them and become a giant
God, basically.
god. There you go. Yeah, here we go. Misato saves the day and blows people's brains out. This is excellent. This is actually one of my favorite scenes. Her coming to the rescue. By the way, love these SEAL agents were just like, hey, we're just gonna blow your brains out, kid. No worries.
Nothing
Yeah.
personal, kid.
Nothing personal, child. Boss's order. We're just gonna gun you down and we're just gonna blow your fucking brains out in cold blood. What do you say, kiddo? Nothing because you're crying? Okay.
He wasn't even. The worst thing is that he wasn't even crying or begging for his life. He was just fucking sitting there.
Yeah.
And he continues to just fucking mope around. The audacity of this bitch to be this useless.
Yes. So we have her in her Eva unit at the bottom of the fucking lake. Shinji currently being saved by Misato and being rushed to safety. It's at this moment where, shockingly,
Asuka gets saved by her mom.
yeah. Now I was a little confused by this scene. Asuka comes to the conclusion that her AT field is her mother. What the fuck is that?
Do you want to explain everything now that we're at this point in turn?
Well, she
Of what
says
the Avas actually are?
hold on to it.
Okay. We'll do it in the end. She says,
yeah.
I understand what an AT field is, and you've always been with me. You've always been watching over me.
Exactly.
So
she's-
she now finally has the full power of the Ava, basically, and she just goes on this epic beast mode
Yeah.
fight.
Mom, I understand now, Mom. I know what the AT field is. Exactly. She knows what the AT field is. Her mom was always been with her, and now it's time to shred these fuckers up. And well, that's what she does, right?
And so she does. She beats the military up, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta cut off her umbilical cable because that's her power supply." And they cut that off, and she's like, "Well, I still got time, and I plan to beat your sorry asses." But as she's doing that, we get a delivery of the Ava series. I love the moment where she takes two giant rockets to the face and walks it off.
Yeah, no, that's pretty dope. This whole scene where she fucks up the entire SEAL attack force is excellent. Until we get this drop where it's like SEAL had their own secret. How many is that? Like a dozen? Like, or maybe 9, 8 or 9?
Yeah, 9.
9?
I mean, they weren't so secret. We knew that an Ava series was in development.
Right.
And it's going to use the S2 engine that doesn't require them to have an external power source, and they're going to put the dummy plugs in. And this is basically the project finished early, by surprise.
there you have it. So she's got to go. It's a 1v9 scenario.
With a time limit.
With a very, very narrow time limit because she's quickly running out of juice. Speaking of running out of juice, Misato has been shot, and she's been carrying it off like she hadn't, but she took a round or two when she was saving Shinji's life. Now, she needs to get Shinji to safety. She needs to get him to his Eva in order to prevent Seal from taking over, and you know, Shinji needs to save the fucking day and get in the thing. Shinji's being a little bitch, so she gives him a little pep talk. Essentially, stop being a bitch. Fucking pilot the thing. Snap the fuck out of it, you fucking crybaby. Part of this is...
Be a man.
Be a fucking man. Part of this is giving him a big sloppy wet kiss on the mouth. Saying that's how grown-ups kiss, and then she gives him this little nugget, which is there's more in store when you get back, which is, I don't know, she's gonna suck his dick or something when he gets back. But
I mean, when you're 14 or however, I think Shinji is 14. When you're 14 and this
You're gonna
woman,
bang.
actual woman, smooches you right on the lips and then tells you there's more where that came from, baby. You just gotta do your homework. You're gonna do your fucking homework.
yeah. However, it's all a fucking lie because that bitch dies right after the fucking smooch. Is that the ghost of Ray that shows up? That's fuck. I didn't fucking notice that.
It really literally appears for like 2 frames. I had to, since the VOC has this option, not an option, but this function where when you just hold down the screenshot keys, it will do like a burst
Rapid.
shot. I
Okay.
had to go back a few times and do a rapid shot so I can pull this frame out.
Oh boy. Okay, so I think he figures it
Shinji
out.
cries. Big shocker.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Asuka's still kicking all kinds of ass. Kicking ass, taking names, blah, 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 blah. Shinji shows up to his AV unit and realizes that he can't even fucking get in.
Even if you wanted to, because it's covered in that red, I don't know what it is, blocker fluid.
Yeah. It's at this moment where Ritsu shows up and she's like, hey, guess what? I put in a secret command. You're not going to get away with this. I put a secret command in the nerve computers. We're shutting this whole thing down. Blah, blah, blah. It's at that moment she realizes that the Magi that she tried to reprogram is literally like, no. The Magi, which is essentially her mother. Her mother's like AI program. Her mother, which is kind of the ghost in the shell, is essentially like, no, you can't do that. So it doesn't go off. Mother, you chose your lover over your own daughter. And then it's at that moment where Gendo's like, all right, joke's on you, bitch. Blam!
How much game does Gendo have that a bitch can be fucking dead and still take his side over her own daughter?
Yeah, he was slinging that dick like a fucking pro.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because even her A is like, listen, time to die. I guess you gotta die. You trying to kill my former lover.
Word around the office is you've got a fat cock.
He must have been slinging that dick like Hercules. Because yeah, her daughter literally just got her brains blown out. Meanwhile, outside, Asuka's still kicking all kinds of ass, until she thinks she wins. Spoiler alert, she doesn't. The Lance of Longinus reappears.
But this is a different one. This is looks like a replica because it's black.
Yeah.
The original one is red.
Good point. A faux lance of Longinus shows up, and a spear of Longinus. It fucking goes right through her skull.
And since she has this huge sync rate with her Ava now, she's probably at the 400% as well, or near that.
Yeah.
Usually you feel the pain, but you don't get damaged. Your nerves are synced, but you don't take any damage. But since she's synced so much, it takes her eye out.
Yeah. She loses her fucking eyeball to this thing. And then these monsters, they're not dead.
No. S2 engine is just too strong. They just fucking get up.
Yeah.
And sneer at her, and they're like, oh, this be a gangbang time, baby.
Yeah. Not dead. Very much alive. And they just tear her apart.
Yeah, look how gruesomely they tear her apart like vultures, but we
Yeah.
can't see fucking Kaji getting his brains blown out.
Yeah, no, they rip her to pieces. And then she's actually still alive, shockingly. After all this, after they tear her to shreds and her organs are splayed out, she still has some fucking fight left in her. But it's not enough. And they detect that there's a little bit of fight left in her, and they fucking impale her like a pincushion.
Skewer her ass.
Yeah. So she's done. She's done. Shinji's wakes up.
Shinji's like, I can't even get into that, but mother, and then Diego wakes up and breaks free, and you're like, wait, what? Why?
Exactly. Yeah. Where does he say mama? There it is. Yeah. Mama. Yes. It's at this point where Geno tries to merge with Rei, realizing that Unit 1 has been activated. Rei, who has the soul of Lilith. And then we see the third impact starts to begin. He says he's already one with Adam, and he wants to reunite we finally realize what he really wants, and that's he wants to reunite with his dead wife. By starting the third impact and essentially killing everyone on Earth through the forbidden union of Adam and Lilith. So we're running out of time. Your AT field can't maintain your form.
Yeah, we see that third Rei can't hold her body alive for much longer. He's like, hey, let me walk up to you, squeeze that titty.
Yeah,
and create a union.
It's so weird. It's like, yeah, let me squeeze that this weird clone titty. Shove my hand in there.
The thing is, that's where her.
I want to squeeze him.
Heart is. So he goes with Adam through her heart, down to her pussy, and he creates the union, the forbidden union between Adam and Lilith.
Or at least he tries to. Oh, it's at this point where Shinji notices. Shinji sees what happened to Asuka. He's like, hey, those bits of flesh look familiar. And then realizes. And then, I don't know, does Shinji cry out for Rei or something? That she picks him, she hears him?
No, his bitch ass scream was so loud and screechy that Rei heard them down below, and I don't know how deep the basement goes. And since before that she was like, oh, my heart wants to be one with Shinji. She probably has some deeper connection with him, I don't fucking know. But she hears him regardless, and his cry was so bitchy that the spear of long anus came back from the moon.
There you go. The spear of long anus shows up, and then all these Avas show up to crucify Shinji. Yeah, it's getting a little weird. It's getting a little freaky.
Yeah, yeah. This is where the suicide code takes place, where the Sealy guys are like, time to chant the chant. Time to summon the third impact.
Yeah, that's. I think at this point, Ray begins to. I think Ray bails on Gendo. Ray bails on Gendo. Seal starts moving their plans into motion. All their Avas start to move in sync, and I guess the third impact starts to begin. And Seal's goal of having all AT fields for all humans dissipate, and all humans becoming one singular entity, non-entity being everything and nothing all at once, finally starts to take form, or lack of form. Now Ray, guide me to you, or whatever the hell her name is, his wife. And then Ray stands up for it. Ray's like, fuck off, old man. No. Yeah. Get off my ass. Shinji's calling me. It's Shinji time. So she goes, yeah, she does the Power Ranger. It's morphin time. And it proceeds to merge with, I guess,
We're gonna bang.
Lilith herself, and gets enormous.
Big Lilith.
Yeah, gets ginormous.
Yeah, she now mathematically has ginormous.
Yeah, you're so
tits.
big today.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know this was gonna be so big.
Meanwhile, Shinji is being crucified by the...
And losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah, he's losing his mind and being crucified by the weird white Ava units from Seal. Man, this is so crazy. The third impact ritual is well underway. You get a bunch of dreamlike, freaky things. And then, yeah, I guess
The
Shinji...
Ava series.
Yeah.
Did you notice how the Ava series transformation looked like a uncircumcised dick peeling its foreskin back?
I guess. I mean, there's so many fucking weird things. Things look like pussies and vaginas and dicks, and look at this. Like, this is it's the weirdest shit, dude. All these images are just freaky as fuck. And they're just like, they're not really explained. They're just like, third impact is starting. This is the existential nightmare we've been alluding to.
Doesn't look right. It looks unnatural.
There's Shinji's lover, and Ray, and then they penetrate his angel chest of his Ava with him inside of it like a vagina. And I mean, it's so like, it again, if you look at these pictures, it's like, it still doesn't explain anything. Like me telling you that like the third impact has begun and what Seal's goals are, it still doesn't make any fucking sense looking at it. Yeah, things are vaginas, things are penises, things are gooey, things are melting into other things. It's all very freaky and philosophical and poetic and existential and sheer chaos. And yeah, eyeballs. Lots of eyeballs for some reason. It's just weirdo shit. It's just weirdo shit for like this whole back half while Shinji has a complete breakdown.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, freaky babies.
This is the breakdown. This is where the ritual requires his ego, his entire self, to be torn apart.
I remember him. Oh yeah, he watches Misato fucking.
He scowls at her like Shinji, like idiots like Shinji is one of the main reasons why women can't open up to men about their kinks, because he's like, oh, I want to be with a woman, and he watches her have sex and he's scowling like, oh, that's disgusting. I'm like, bitch, what do you mean?
Let's get to the part where he starts choking Asuka, because that's pretty funny.
It's funny.
He starts. Oh, whoops. Where is it? Asuka's being a dickhead like she always is, and he's like, yeah, I can't take this bitch anymore. It's chokey time. Chokey. Murder. He chokes her to death. Come on, man.
You missed it. If it's the coffee scene.
Hang on.
Are you talking about the end?
Oh no. Oh, maybe I did miss it. I don't know. Listen, he's having a fucking complete mental breakdown. Asuka shows up, but it's like his version of Asuka, but like, is it Asuka? Who knows? There we go. There, he chokes the fucking life out of her because I don't know. Maybe that's his kink. Maybe he's not choking her. Maybe he's choking himself. Maybe he's choking a version of himself. I don't know. This is for people to analyze and take stabs at. I don't particularly care either, to be honest with you. This isn't my favorite storytelling. Like really weird abstract stuff. I could appreciate it from an artistic standpoint, but from a storytelling standpoint, this kind of artisanry is.
On me. It's lost. I'm like,
yeah,
I can see it, but I'm not the type of guy to appreciate it. I'm like,
it's not my bag.
I can see what you're doing. Yeah, I can see what you're doing, but it's not my bag. I don't like it being so open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Being so vague and things not being tied up in the end.
Yeah.
Or being so vaguely explained that
it's
you
very
need to go to like
loosey-goosey
and talk to other people.
Yeah.
In order to figure out what the fuck's going on and what the fuck the Avas are.
Right. And then people start turning into goo because Ray, all of Ray's clones start to appear now as we get little versions of like astral plane Rays showing up to like guide people to their goo form as she takes shape of their most loved individuals before they go full goo. Also, keep in mind, Ray is also still gigantic and like multi-formed and full of eyes and wings and tendrils and shit. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like, it's bonkers. It's wild. Tuux has explained it to us, Bill. Nope, that's the thing. Nobody can.
I can somewhat explain it at the end, or at least, what the... I mean, we already explained what the Human Instrumentality Project is, and what the message is, and the only thing left is the actual Avas.
Yeah. His wife shows up to goo him. He explains...
Everyone shows up to goo him. Everyone besides Shinji. Like, what he's seeing are, like, his deepest desires, it's like, oh... Everyone you like is here except for Shinji. And he gets bored by Unit 1.
Yeah.
And the Able series stick their spears inside of them deeper, and it's oddly sexual for them for some fucking reason.
Because everything is like sex.
As well.
Everything is like sex and death and existential nightmare.
Here's the thing though. If everything's being reborn, and the only way you make people get born is by fucking. And the giant Ray has vagina hands.
She's got vagina pussy. Come on, dude. Yo. Come on.
Here's the thing though, a pussy opens up in her, and since Unit 1 has turned into the tree of life,
and look at that
in
pussy.
order for them to have their union, it has to insert itself.
Yeah, what does this look like? Like, it's all like hypersexual. Like, just... It's batshit crazy. Oh, then you start getting pictures of like real life shit in here too. It's cuckoo for Cocoa
like,
Puffs.
Why is this?
What?
You're like, why is this here, my man?
Yeah, at some point Shinji's
Weird as shit.
It's at some point Shinji's like, oh, I guess everybody's gonna die now. I'm gonna die. Everybody else is gonna die. This is my fucking LSD trip.
I'm gonna be on Joe Rogan next week. Please look forward to it. I'm gonna talk to him about my DMT trip.
And at some point, like Shinji gives up completely at one point, right? And here it is. So him and Ray are hanging out, fucking cowgirl style, the two of them. So they're hanging out cowgirl style, and I don't know, fucking more existential nightmare stuff. More
existential stuff where Shinji basically says it's okay for people to get hurt if they can still reach happiness and exist, and even though I ran away because I felt bad at that time, it doesn't mean it has to go on forever, especially when I get up off my bitch ass and do something about it.
Right. So
Shinji,
Shinji,
a nice scene of him laying on Rei's thighs, which is peak anime culture.
Yeah, so Shinji comes to the realization, this is, by the way, this is after everybody's been gooed. Every human has been goo babied, and Shinji's like, yeah, let's make them people again, is basically what happened.
Yeah, since he is the tree of life now, it's his decision, because if he were to be the bitch that he is, people would have remained good, and he's like, you know what? It ain't that bad, and it can get better, so let's not do the good thing.
Yeah, let's make people again. So they do, and then everything is like blown up and like torn apart and like resets, and it's blood and it's goo, and it's look at this. It's like she stops being Lilith, and her body falls to earth, and then everybody becomes corporeal again.
What?
It has all this, like, again, you're watching what I'm watching. This is basically how it ends. Yeah. It's sheer Looney Tunes LSD trip.
Yeah, Shinji meets his mom, and she's like, are you gonna be okay? And he's like, yeah, I have a chance for happiness, so I'll do my best. And then we get a flashback where she says, this is probably one of the most important things. She's like, this is the natural evolution of humans. Even though we die, we can create artificial ones and put souls of actual people inside them so that we can leave a mark. Even after the sun expands and everything, the Evas will still continue to exist, and people will see that we humans existed. And despite it, it's going to be lonely, we still should do that. That's how we evolve humans.
There you go. And then it ends with them waking up. Now here's what I got. All right, so Ray's still around because I guess she's a clone and part Lilith, so she could just come and go as she fucking pleases now, I guess, like a fucking ghost.
It's weird as shit.
However, we did see... God, this is so stupid, dude.
Welcome to one of the most, if not the most hated anime endings of all fucking time. Seconded only by Darling in the Franxx.
So
maybe even more, but when it comes to ruining an ending twice, Ava has the gold medal in that baby. Shinji, despite having all that backbone to be like, you know what, I can take the pain and suffering because I can work my way through happiness.
Right.
He wakes up on this white beach next to the girl he allegedly likes. He sees that she's alive, and the first thing this bitch ass does is get on top of her and choke her to death.
Yeah, he starts again. She was dead. She was ripped apart. She was deceased, along with Misato and all these other people who had died. Ritsu, all these motherfuckers are dead, and then they turn into goo. But he, because he was, I don't know, he was God briefly, sort of, and made such a strong decision, right? Like this whole series up to this point, we've seen his journey, right? And we've seen him like flip-flop between being, brave and bold and being a whiny, crybaby, annoying bitch. And then he has this moment, this like epiphany, when he's like, no, existence can be what we make it. Let's be people. Let's not be goo. He made the goo choice. And he's like, yeah, people. My final answer, people. And this is like, I think this is like listen, the creator of this was suffering with a deep depression and probably a whole lot of mommy issues. And this series apparently was him kind of working his way through that, right? So I'm assuming Shinji is probably an aspect of his own psyche and self-doubt made anime. So there's a bit of truth to that. So again, the message, Shinji coming to terms with humanity and himself and his own self-doubt and depression. After all that freaky LSD shit that we see him on the beach with, you're right, his love interest, his whatever the fuck she means to him, clearly something. She is now alive. He has fucking resurrected her to be on this beach with him. Of all the people in his life, he didn't bring back Misato. I mean, maybe he did bring back Misato. Maybe she's elsewhere there. Who the fuck knows? But he brought her back, specifically. And you're right, Bale. What does he do? He starts choking her to death after he literally brought her back to life. It's fucking retarded, dude. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid.
It's a callback to his mental breakdown where he's like, "Oh, be nice to me." She's like, "Nah, I won't be nice to you. You're pathetic." And then he starts choking her. He just doubles down on that scene, and now she finally shows him some kindness, some niceness by, putting her hand on his face in like a affectionate manner. And what does the little bitch ass do? He breaks the fuck down, crying.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
And how did this series end?
This is the last line.
By Asuka calling him disgusting.
Yeah. In the dub she says how disgusting. But whatever the last word said in this show, disgusting. As he cowers crying on top of a woman who is pussy probably drier than the fucking sand that they're laying on her currently. And that's it. That's the end.
They could have just ended it with them lying on the beach.
Them lying on the beach would have been fine.
Not even holding hands, just them lying on the beach would have been fine. No, we had to have this final bout of bitch assness to frustrate the ever-living hell out of me. Like, I was frustrated,
but it's just like
6 years or so ago when I first watched it, and I got frustrated again now, even though I knew what I was.
It's just that I don't even mind that if he's a bitch. Like, who cares, right? But it's the fact that they go through this character arc only for him to completely undo the very, it's like it's like if Luke Skywalker learns to become a Jedi, and then at the very end of the Star Wars series, he's just like,
You a bitch ass nigga.
yeah, he's just like, nah, I don't want to be a Jedi, which ended up happening in fucking with Ruin Johnson's Star Wars. But like, it's the same thing. You see a character, or fucking, you pick the character that has a character arc. Batman learning to become Batman. At the very end, he's like, yeah, you know what? Nah, I don't want to be Batman. It's like, what the fuck are we doing then? Why did I just watch this?
Yeah, and I'm sure if we ever catch one of the snobby Ava fans, they'd explain it to us. And if you do listen and watch this, please explain it to us in the comments what the meaning of this last fucking scene is. I don't know what mental gymnastics you gotta go through, but you fucking do that. So the only thing that's left unexplained are the Avas themselves, and here's the breakdown. Avas, this part I'm not very sure of, but I think I'm recording it correctly, are made from Adam, the first angel. They have the souls of the pilot's mothers implanted into them, because the same time, I mean, it's been foreshadowed ever since episode 16 or so. And every time Shinji says mother and the Ava moves, it's his actual mother moving. And that's her, since and back when he was Gu for the first time, he's Gu, he's in the Ava. His mom shows up miraculously from there and wakes him up. That's because her soul is in the Ava. And Rei is a clone of Shinji's mom.
That's a lot of his mom. So his mom is the Ava, and his mom is also Rei.
Yeah. Rei is a cheap knockoff of Shinji's mom using Lilith parts. the Ava has Shinji's mom's soul in her, and Unit 2 has Asuka's mom's soul in her.
Gotcha.
That's why that's why there's a specific synchronicity, and that's why it's best when their kid is in there, because there's the emotional and biological connection.
I see. See, I missed that entirely. I had no idea that that was a thing. I did not piece that together.
Because it's so fucking vague.
Okay. All right.
I also had it explained to me later.
I mean, yes, it makes sense when it's explained, but no, I never would have picked that up unless I went on a deep dive on my own. Never would have figured that out. All right.
The series tells it to you in such a vague manner that unless you are hyper focused, you do not pick up. It required just one line of saying, "Oh, this is my mom," or "the Ava's carrying my mom's soul." That's it. Problem solved.
Yep. Nope. There's a lot of stuff I liked about this series, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to watch. I don't think I'm going to review these, but I'm going to watch on my own the Ava movies, like the Ava recap movies. 1.1,
rebuilds.
1, 2, 3, and other 3. I'm going to watch them because I feel like I owe it to myself to check them out because I respect the series. This is a legendary, iconic series for a reason.
Yeah, in regards to genre-defining series, this is it, because up until this point it's just, it's giant robots, it's super robots, it's Transformers, and now that you put in so much of the human aspect and condition with a giant robot, it was revolutionary of its time, and the creator himself said that at the time everything was very super safe, very stale, nobody was trying to do anything new, and he was like, well, if no one's gonna do anything new, I'm gonna do it myself. And he started doing Ava.
Yeah,
I think he still holds that thought, that idea, and it's somewhat true, because right now if you look at new anime adaptation, it's shonen, which is easy. It's safe. You adapt a popular manga like My Hero Academia and you make money because the series has to make money. And the other one is isekai. The isekai, it's not a genre, it's a setting, but it's shonen manga that's popular in isekai. And isekai has become a plague of this sort, because even the most mediocre ones are getting adaptations, because for some reason it's it's the fucking new trend and everyone's going to watch it.
Worth the series, worth a watch. The same way because of its iconic because of its just iconic place in anime. Worth a watch. And there's a lot of great anime. There's a lot of great animation here. There's a lot of solid storytelling. There is a lot of weird shit that I think is almost uninterpretable. And you can honestly, it is poetic in a way that the series is so fucking confusing. You do at points feel like Shinji himself, which I'm sure was the intention, where you're just I don't know what the fuck is happening. But I think that's also a detriment. You being unable to decipher what's happening on screen from a linear story standpoint. I get that it is its own tool. The confusion does mirror Shinji's confusion, or Shinji's erratic mental state is kind of your own when trying to figure this out. But I think it does a disservice to it. As much as it lifts it, I think it also hinders it. But perhaps that's just a personal thing. I kind of like a little bit more straightforward storytelling. I don't mind an ambiguous ending, but this is a little bit too ambiguous for me. Yeah.
I don't mind a super complex and, let's say, brainy story, because I've watched Steins Gate, and that's pretty heady, and I've also watched Code Geass. But when it's not complex, it's convoluted, as you said. When the storytelling is unclear, you start to lose me, and your complexity suffers for it because I can't enjoy it because I can't decipher it.
Right. When you like can't figure out what's literally happening because it's so confusing, I think you've fucked up a little bit. Now, and I like again,
it's
who the fuck am I, right? But yeah. I appreciate what this is. It's fucking incredible. The accomplishment of the series, but it's just a little bit too confusing and crazy for me, too erratic for me. I mean, to really be like, oh, this is one of my favorite anime of all time. I understand why for some people it is. Like if you're like, hey, like John Amore, this is like, I think this is John Amore's one of his favorite anime of all time.
Of course it is.
It's too interpretational for me for that. I do like, again, I don't mind some ambiguity. I don't mind not having to have my hand held. But things are too vague here for me. There too much is left up to your own assumptions. I think way too much. I think
and you lose a lot of aha and wow moments. Like imagine if the series did a good job of telling you that the Avas are carrying their mom's souls.
Yeah, but like again, it's so vague. It's one thing if like they give you enough clues. Let's use that as an example. That's a pretty pivotal. Fucking A, man. It's a major puzzle piece in the series, right? What the Avas are, what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
And you do realize that they come from angels and they're part of either Lilith or Adam. I was unclear about that. But because it's like somebody giving you a Lego set without any of the instructions or some of the instructions, and then you're left to kind of just hope that you fucking figure it out on your own. And if you don't, well, you just got a fucking weird wonky Lego set. That sucks. Again, I don't need to have my hand held 100% of the way, but give me a fucking hand a little bit, because I don't want to have to want to have to study this series like it's the fucking Torah. I don't want to study it like it's the fucking Dead Sea Scrolls.
Which also aren't explained at the end.
Right. Which aren't explained.
We just know that something something is said in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that's about it.
Yeah. All right. I think we wrapped it up. We did the movie. We did the thing. They do a lot of they do heavy, maybe even too heavy on the religious imagery.
Oh no! Here's the interesting part. All those crosses, the creator put them in there because he thought they look cool.
Oh.
He said in an interview that there's no religious reasoning behind it. He just thought
fuck off.
Cool.
Go fuck yourself. I don't believe that for a fucking second, dude. Dude, Longinus, Lilith, Adam, Eve, or Eva.
No, those
come on, man.
Those things.
But they literally crucify. They literally crucify Lilith, and they literally crucify Shinji as in his unit. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. I put those crosses in Khalil. Go fuck yourself. That's bull. I don't give a shit what that motherfucker says. Yeah. No. This is it. Come on. Fuck off. If you want to do something cool, there are plenty of other shapes that he could have done X's. He specifically went for the cross over and over and over again. Literally look to the fucking left in this very fucking panel. You're telling me that that's just a cool shape that he likes? Get the fuck out. Go fuck yourself. All right. Well, no more anime poetry for me. I'm good. Next week. Oh, I think we're doing Arcane next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Arcane. We're doing it.
Which is straightforward.
Very straightforward. You gotta watch the movies. I'm gonna watch the movies in my own time. I'm gonna watch the Evangelion 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and the 3.0 plus 1.0. because that makes sense. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because again, I appreciate enough of this series that I do. You know, listen, it's kind of like jazz, right? This is like anime jazz, right? Where you're just like, all right, listen, jazz isn't something I'm gonna put on when I'm like at the gym, but like sometimes it's nice to have in the background. That's what this is to me. I don't always understand it. I don't know where the fuck it's coming from. It's certainly downright fucking confusing, but it's cool. You know? So I'm gonna listen to more of this. I'm gonna watch more of this anime jazz, but I'm definitely not gonna review it because my brain is mush now. I want to go find a ginger-haired woman and just strangle her now on the beach. I'm gonna go walk into a hospital and jerk off on a comatose patient.
We're gonna bang.
The spear is also called the Spear of Destiny. Whoever wields it is supposed to possess superpowers. The Nazis were looking for it. Yoji with the facts.
Yeah, that's a cum shot.
Yoji with the facts. All right.
Of course they will.
Guys, next week, Arcane. Bale, do you want to leave him with any other, any goodbyes? Any goodbye words?
I'm gonna support.
Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you to the patrons for sponsoring yet another podcast.
Thank you. Much appreciated. I'll see you guys next week. And if you guys want to watch me draw, I'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.